It's the Orioles on Bassett, and welcome to Birdland here at Camden Yards as the Orioles get set to take on Tampa Bay. Second game of this three-game set and a victory, and the Orioles would have yet another series win. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. Great ball game last night. The Orioles had to come from behind to do it in some pretty miserable conditions for both teams out there on the field, but they got it done. And there was a key moment in the ball game that came in the fourth inning. Already 3-1, Tampa Bay on top. They had the bases loaded. They had their top two in the order who've been red hot coming to the plate. Vidal Nuno came out of the bullpen. And this is what Nuno did to the two guys at the top of the order. He needed to keep those three on base. That was his job. That's what he's been doing when he comes out of the pen, and he did it again. Corey Dickerson would go down, struck out. Kiermaier would go down, struck out. Castillo gets it, gets the foot out at first base. Vidal Nuno with a tremendous effort.
Oh yeah, just coming in and do my job and just throwing strikes. Don't get overexcited. So I just kept with the game plan and just keep pounding the zone. So that's what I've been doing the last couple outings, and it's getting better each time. So.
What did you go to in that inning to get those strikeouts?
It's just a little mixture. Cutter's been my go-to, but lately it's been the fastball. So the fastballs were the key to get the strikeouts in that situation. So.
Well, Jim Palmer, Buck Showalter likes what he sees from Nuno because that's what he's seeing.
Well, late spring training acquisition for the Orioles. And, when you play on good teams, and the Orioles have been a good team ever since Buck Showalter gets here, everybody's involved. And we used to have our meetings, Earl Weaver would say, I'm taking the best 25 guys north. Now it could be the best 30 guys because, with all the roster moves. But at the end of the day, everybody knows that they're going to have a chance to contribute. He comes in. It was 3-1 at that time. The game did have a chance of being really getting out of hand, especially the way Archer was pitching. Then you go a couple innings later, Archer's cruising along if you can be at with a 3-1 lead. All of a sudden, Kim hits a home run. Scope hits a home run. In a matter of about 5 hitters, the whole game changes when Adam Jones hits a hanging slider. And as Archer said, anybody in the lineup could have hit it, but Adam did after he plunked Smith. So everybody did their job. It was a game that probably going into the 7th inning, you didn't think you had a chance to win. You run your record to 13-5 by winning that game.
And the Orioles continue to be on top in Major League Baseball as far as that win percentage is concerned. A lot of people have been asking who don't follow the Orioles, well, how are they winning all these games? Well, the fact of the matter is they're doing the things that need to be done at a particular moment, Jim, in every game.
Well, they are, and most people, if you go to talk to Scott Coolbaugh or you talk to the hitters, they say, hey, we can be better, and they probably will. Starting pitching's been very good last night. Jimenez wasn't as good as he was, obviously, but he had control problems. Nuno saved him. How about Brad Rock? You lose the best closer in baseball last year. Zach Britton's 47 out of 47, has a flexor problem, seems to be getting better. Brock comes in 4 in a row. First thing he says today, I said, nice job. He goes, no, I walked a guy. So trying to get better, and this is what the Orioles do. They've done it since, really Buck Showalter has been here. And at the end of the day, that makes you a better ball club when you play 162 games.
All right, we're ready to go. There's been a late change, and I mean a real late change in starting pitching for Tampa Bay. When we come back, we'll update you on that. Game 2, the Rays and the Orioles, when we return. Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Overcast night, drizzle around most of the day here in the Baltimore area. And we'll see how it goes here tonight. BGE Home, Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? It is a cool 60 degrees. Breeze blowing a bit towards left, humidity way up there at 82%. Here's the starting lineup for the Rays tonight. The left-hander on the mound, they juggle a bit. Souza leads off. Kiermaier, Longoria, Miller, Weeks Jr. gets a start. Morrison, Beckham, Norris, and Peter Borges will start in left field. Evan Longoria, the big numbers here at Camden Yards, especially the long ball.
And Wade Miley, well, he's coming off about as good a game as you can pitch. It was a no decision, but 2 hits, 11 strikeouts, did give up 1 run, a home run. And again, if you're going to be any good, you better have a good battery mate. Caleb Joseph takes a lot of pride to try to make Wade as good as he can be. And then, in fact, again, you know, Aquino did get a win. He's a left-hander, but normally he will be the only left-hander in the Orioles starting rotation.
And ready to go, and the pitch is outside to Souza. Even Souza Jr. and had the elbow and shoulder looked at after he tried to catch a ball that ended up being a home run in last night's ball game. Came back in, said he's got a little bruise and contusion on the arm and elbow, but not enough to keep him out of the lineup. And he's moved to the top of the lineup with a left-hander on the mound. 3 for 16 lifetime off Miley. Foul tips that one into the mid. 2 ball 1 strike count. Wade, of course, has been working in a hurry. Caleb Joseph will get the signs down. Miley gets the ball and delivers it right back in. Keeps the defense alive behind him. You'll see some of the batters probably stepping out a little bit to try and slow him down.
Yeah, and right there, he thought that ball might be a little bit low. You know, Miley, he can pitch in. His comfortable side is the glove side. In other words, into the right-handers, right where Caleb is going now. And I'll tell you what, Souza, who was American League Player of the Week, he just talked himself into not getting struck out because that was a better pitch than the one that Hoy called for strike 2.
He's had hits 16 of the last 21 games. Punches that one down the line in right field. Smith with a long run gets there, puts it away for the first out.
Yeah, take a look at the defense. A little bit better weather than last night. Kim Jones and Smith, Machado, Hardy, Gold Glovers, Scope, Davis, and then Caleb Joseph. And again, you know, like you said, Gary, a little bit of breeze. And coming off groin and hamstring problems that really hindered him in spring training. So good to see him out there. Big part of last night's win.
Yep. That'll bring up Kevin Kiermaier hitting in the number 2 spot. Kiermaier had an 0 for 5 in the ball game last night. He's not had a hit in his last 9 at bats. 3 strikeouts in the game last night. They'll play in at the corners against him. Both Davis and Manny Machado, when the pitch was delivered, were standing a step in on the grass that time to take the bunt away from Kiermaier. Kiermaier on the cut. He is 4 for 11 with a home run lifetime off Miley. Wade going after win number 2. The ball club's gone 2-1 in his 3 starts. Baltimore chop off the plate. Boy, that's got hang time. And for the Orioles, fortunately, it will roll foul.
Yeah, Wade Miley doing the only thing you can do because of the speed factor of Kevin Kiermaier. Lets it bounce and it does roll foul. Wee Willie Keeler. And again, I mean, that's probably the highest chopper I've ever seen. I mean, it was.
That had the hang time of a fly ball.
Yeah, a Ray Guy punt when he used to punt for the Railer, and it lands fair and then goes foul.
Miley let it go because he knew he had no chance. Head on the count here, ball and 2 strikes on Kiermaier, and a swing and a miss, and he's got a strikeout.
Well, we talked last night about can you make a quality pitch when you get to 2 strikes. So let's take a look at our Mercedes pitch cast right here. I mean, perfect breaking ball. Started in the strike zone, so it's a strike 2 ball. And that's exactly what he does.
Good pitch, gets the out. He's made 9 career starts against Tampa Bay. He's 4-2. Very good ERA. 2.6 for Miley against the Rays. He had a couple of starts against them last year as a member of the Seattle Mariners for 1 and 1 with the Orioles. This season, he's just been phenomenal. He's allowed 3 runs or less in all 3 of the starts that he's made, coming in with that outstanding 1.89 ERA. Shift on. Longoria 1 for 4 last night, takes the pitch down low for a ball. For the Rays team against left-handers, they've won 2 and lost 4 against left-handed starters. They have a higher average by 10 points against lefties, 263 to 253. 4 out of the strike zone in a row, and Longoria's on with a walk.
Yeah, I think Wade Miley, once he dropped behind him 2-0, he looks at, looks at the stats. I mean, the batting average, Longoria only 208, but more home runs than anybody else in the lineup. So again, the weather around us is it.
Well, interesting that the reason we said Tampa Bay changed pitchers, they've got Austin Pruitt pitching as a starter rather than Ramirez. There's Pruitt. Now, they made that decision very late, and it was because we understand of weather. They thought it was going to rain here, and they didn't want to lose Ramirez as a starter. That's going to bounce off the glove of Manny Machado over there by the camera well, off the bat of Brad Miller. So they said Pruitt will start. Ramirez will be available in the bullpen for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, really tough play because the ball, Manny, and the glove arrive at the same time, even though the railings are padded here.
So Pruitt, literally, I think about 15 minutes for his start time, found out he was going to be the starting.
Well, a
pitcher.
starter at AAA Durham all last year, so but probably not stretched out as much as Ramirez. Of course, this was Ramirez because of the injuries. We talked about it last night. 11 guys on the disabled list. Odorizzi, one of them. Ramirez, this would have been his second start.
Yeah. So we'll see how Mother Nature helps or doesn't. 1-1 pitch on the way, and a big cut on a good pitch down and away by Wade Miley.
Yeah, really quality breaking ball. He's got a curve ball. This is kind of in between. But again, the quality of the breaking ball. Do you pick up the spin? Obviously, Kiermaier didn't, and Miller didn't there.
That'll be down and away. The left-handers so far this year against Wade Miley have had only 1 hit. It was a home run. They are 1 for 11 now, with Kiermaier being the 11th against him. Last year, left-handers only hit 209 against Wade Miley. Right-handers 260 last year. Came inside that time with 91 on the fastball, and the count is full. So Longoria will be going at first base.
Yeah, doing a lot of things that he didn't do in Cincinnati. I mean, pitch count at 19, a little higher than he wants. Of course, Miller did hit 30 home runs last year, so certainly capable of putting a charge into one.
0 for 4 off Miley and 2 walks in a row. So the Rays get a chance here in the first inning. Remember, they have scored more first inning runs than any other team in the majors. They got 1 last night. They've had 25 first inning runs so far this year. And here is Weeks. Weeks came on late in the ball game and had only 1 at bat. The 0 for 1 you see. He's the designated hitter in the ball game tonight with a left-hander on the mound. And
well, to give you an idea of what he does, I mean, he's got 4 hits, and 2 are doubles and 1's a home run. He's a big, strong guy. Did strike out last night on a really good 3-2 breaking ball from Donnie Hart. But he's in this lineup to hit against left-handers. He played some first base, even though he came up and had some great years with the Brewers at second base.
And the pitch will be put up in the air, high, deep. Adam Jones going back, drifting to the wall, up, and he's got it. Didn't have to go up really. Came right down at the top. Adam lined it up perfectly. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. Check out the Orioles lineup in a minute. Umpires advising with the crew chief Jeff Kellogg, who's at second base. Here's the Orioles starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Smith, Jones, and Machado, Davis, Trumbo, and Kim, Scope, Hardy, and Caleb Joseph. For Adam, 13 hits, last 10, average going from 278 to 300.
So there you go, Austin Pruitt. He's been pretty busy out of their bullpen. Starter last year, 4-pitch pitcher. He got a fastball, maybe 91 to 92, which is a major league average. He's got a curveball. He's got a changeup. Got a slider. That's his biggest swing and a miss pitch. So again, 28 starts last year, 8-11 record down at AAA Durham, but also pretty good ERA.
And he gets the start here. And the pitch taken for a strike. This is going to be his first major league career start. Seth Smith had a 1-for-2 in the ball game last night up against him. Pruitt struggling in the bullpen this year with an ERA of almost 8. 10 earned runs in 11 1/3 innings and 8 relief appearances. And that will be fouled off at the plate. Fortunately for the Orioles, didn't have to change the lineup around. Both right-handers, Ramirez and Pruitt, and it's one of the few times I've seen a change made like that because of the weather at the last minute.
Well, either that, and they've also had the flu running amok. I mean, they have all these guys on the DL, but they also have guys under the weather from a flu-like symptoms.
0-2 the count, light rain falling, and that we're going to go into the shift. No, hauled in by Morrison. Logan Morrison, who has moved over, handles the line drive.
Yeah, you think it's a pretty good pitch, but I mean, Seth Smith, I mean, he's all over it. Tried to get the fastball in on him, and again, the shift thwarts him. I mean, a rocket. So let's take a look at the defense for the Rays here in Baltimore. Borchos Kiermaier, the Gold Glover winner the last 2 years. Souza Jr. Longoria's won a couple Gold Gloves. Beckham, 1 error over the course of the season. Miller, and then Morrison, who you just saw, and then doing the catching. The veteran Derek Norris.
And here is Adam Jones, who will take the pitch for a ball. Adam with the 4-game hit streak coming in, continued it last night, went 3 for 3. The big home run, 2 RBIs. 1-0 count. Adam has been getting on base via the hit or the walk of late in every game. Swing and a miss, good pitch down and away to him, 1-1. 3-hit game of the season. He got it.
Yeah, he comes in 4 for 32. 4 singles off of Chris Archer. Hustles a single into a double. Hits a rocket off the right field wall and a hanging slider for the game-winning home run. Pretty good night.
Real solid performance. Adam will take the pitch outside Pruitt. They check he did not go around. Will Little down at first.
But you can see he's got a pretty good slider. The fastball, as like we said, maybe it's a tick below the major league average. The bullpen average fastball is now about 93. Starter at 92. And then a curveball and changeup to go with that darting slider he just tried to get Adam to swing at.
And that's Pruitt, first year in the majors. He's a 5-year pro now. 27 years old, out of Plano, Texas. 27 and 28 in the minors, and almost every game in the minors was as a starter. Only 3 or 4 relief appearances. 2-2 delivery. Adam up the middle. Shifted over that way was Miller.
And again, the slider just entices the weak swing. You got to cover the outside corner. Looks like he's very comfortable pitching down and away to righties. Yeah, Gary, he struggled the first 3 starts. Actually, her relief appearances weren't too bad, and then he ran into the Yankees for 3 runs and 2/3 of an innings, and the Red Sox up in Fenway got him for 4 in 2+ innings, and that's how the ERA got to where it was.
He's not had success against either righties or lefties this year. The right-handers 12 for 33. The left-handers 9 for 21 in his appearances out of the bullpen. Pitch taken away. Manny Machado ended a hit streak last night with an 0 for 3. Did have a walk. He had a 5-game hit streak snapped in that ball game last night. 1-0 pitch on the way. On speed delivery at 80.
Yep. Well, there's the curveball, and if you can pitch down in the zone, you can be pretty successful. know, again, they'll get their hits, but you limit the amount of home runs that teams can hit.
And that pitch is going to be taken down low. 2 ball, 1 strike count from Pruitt.
And how about this? I mean, in 166 innings at AAA, he walked 27. So he does have good control.
2-1, close, not quite. Jim Hoy, the home plate umpire, tendency probably to favor the hitters in his career as far as the strike zone is concerned. So the hitters usually get a little break on some of the close pitches with Jim behind the plate. That's what players look at before the game to see what the umpire does. That will be foul back. Got that one down, and it's 3-2. Pruitt working along, rocking along rather quickly as well here in his start. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Manny's had a hit, 7 of the last 9. Coming off a time before that where he'd had about 3 or 4 games where he wasn't hitting. He'll go the other way foul.
And see, I mean, that's 92, 93, right on the corner. Yeah, I thought it was, you know, Chris Archer, he gives up 3 home runs the first 3 of the year. And I mean, he's a realist. He says, you know what, I need to make better pitches. And he, you know, he made 3 mistakes and the Orioles hit him. So if you're going to be Pruitt, if you get balls in the middle of the plate, you're going to give up some runs. If not, you might have some success.
3-2 will be up. So Pruitt surrenders the 2-out walk here in the first inning. Manny Machado gets it, keeps the inning alive, and it will bring up Chris Davis.
Yeah, I think the only thing for young pitchers that I went through this is where, you know, you come up to the major league level and it's the highest level there is, and all of a sudden you're afraid to pitch to contact. But that was actually just trying to run the ball up and in, and he missed. Not wild like we saw last night.
Chris Davis 0 for 3 in the ball game last night. Davis did pick up a walk and an RBI, got it on the ground ball out. Shift on against him. He goes against the shift. Longoria got to go to first base on the long toss over there and will record the out. So the Orioles, no runs, no hits, no errors. Pruitt, a major league start under his belt. It's the division rival Tampa Bay Rays tomorrow. It's a 7:05 game. Great seats still remain. Start as low as $15. Get yours at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Scheduled starters for the ball game tomorrow night. Dylan Bundy will go after his 4th win with a 1.37 ERA, and Alex Cobb, who's 1-2, will be on the mound. We think, for Tampa Bay. Wade Miley set to go as we go to the 2nd. Here's Logan Morrison. And Morrison will take the pitch down low for Miley. There are the numbers for him. He had a 1 for 2 in the ball game last night. Morrison hit lefties hard so far. 4 hits, 11 at bats against left-handers. 1-0 pitch, puts it up in the air, shallow left. Long run Kim. It's not his name. That's what he had to do. And he didn't get there in time.
Long run Kim. Yeah. Well, last night it was home run Kim. I told him today, I said, I knew you'd hit one this year before the season ended.
Confidence.
And of course, you know, he always has his interpreter with him, but he knows exactly what I'm talking about. And he just laughs and smiles.
His effervescent attitude.
Yeah.
Morrison will get back in against Wade Miley. Morrison hit .258 last year against left-handers, so he's had good numbers against lefties.
No, he's big and strong. And they're the numbers for this season, all the home runs.
Shift moved over against him now with Hardy almost behind second base. 1-1 delivery on the way, and that will just miss inside.
Yeah, so the maybe a couple of low pitches called in the first, and the strike zone has come up a little bit, which usually benefits the hitters.
Wade Miley's retired 74% of the leadoff batters so far this year in his 3 starts. Big number. That goes into that shift. Jonathan Scope on the backhand has it. Plenty of time.
That ball was whacked hard.
Well, we know your phone's out, so be sure to text Orioles 29292 right now for in-game alerts, future contests, and more. That's Orioles 29292 for alerts you can't miss. Standard message and data rates may apply. Orioles have improved their mark to 7-2 at home. She's doing as directed right now, actually.
Phone is out.
And we didn't even have to pay her. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, on the road, they've had only 1 win. They are 1-7. They have the worst record on the road in the majors. Pitch is in there for a strike to Beckham. 1 for 3 last night. That continues a 5-game hit streak, a season-long one so far. Even longer. He's had a hit in 8 of the last 9 that he's been in. Miley 0-2. Norris to follow. Defense deep, played a bit around to right. Went to the outside with it, and tantalizing 1-2.
Yeah, Caleb Joseph, when he, really he knew this is going to be his job, maybe catching Wade Miley on a regular basis, said basically, he said, listen, you're really good inside to the righties, to your glove side. He said, but and they all know that. So let's just try to establish. It started the last start of last year. Scotty McGregor had a little bit of a talk when he was up in late September. Scotty, of course, 18-20 game winner with the Orioles, and he said, listen, you got to have both sides of the plate, and then that continued in spring training.
Made it work.
Yeah.
2-2, and he went outside and got him.
And Caleb's joined, and he looked at all the tape of all the games that he pitched, and of course he was 2-5 with an ERA of over 6 runs a game, and he said, listen, they're looking in. They're not looking right here, and he throws this ball right on the corner. So again, if you look at the your previous at bats against Wade Miley, he loves to pitch righties in, and Caleb said establish a way getting in will even be easier.
Caleb has caught all of Miley's starts. Buck Showalter says insistently that he does not match up pitchers and catchers, that he doesn't like to do that it can get out of hand and be a little unwieldy. But for early on in this season, this battery has worked so well together that they've stayed together. Here's Norris, and he will take the pitch for a strike. Struggling at the plate, had an 0 for 3 in the ball game last night. He's picked up only 1 hit in his last 16 at bat, so that average dropping down. He did get a walk in the game last night. 0-2 the other way foul.
See, again, I mean, reach. That's not the Wade Miley that a lot of the hitters, not only the Rays, I think Cincinnati, young hitting ball club, a lot of clubs aren't used to that. He just pounds you in. So now all of a sudden, if he does want to go in, he's made you kind of lean out over the plate, easier to get inside.
0-2 delivery on the way. Again, stayed there. Only 3 for 14 for Norris against left-handers so far this year. There's the supposed starting pitcher, Erasmo Ramirez, who got yanked out. And again, what we understand unofficially, but from folks with the ball club, that they were concerned about the weather, starting him and then having him lose his start because of weather moving in. 0-2 count. In the air, right field, another long run. Smith, and that one will take a hop.
So take a look at our Maryland Live Casino, and again we talk about, I mean, it's one of the StatCast numbers, one of the numbers, how hard do you hit a ball, how hard is it hit off you, and as you look at the progression, the lowest was his last start. Ever since he's, you all the way back to 2015 when he was pitching for Seattle.
Off the fists, and again no play. Souvenir.
Yeah, so you make him reach, and then you come in, try to break his bat, get an easy out. And he can do this as long, and the exit velocity maybe a little higher tonight, Gary, because you got behind guys in the first inning, and we just missed a home run to dead center. But 0-2, now you can pitch to the corners of the plate, just maybe off the plate, and hitters will chase.
Way outside with that one. Norris has had to protect here on the previous 3 pitches that weren't particularly close. This is going to be the 8th pitch of the at bat, so he's fought off some pretty good deliveries that have been put in by Wade Miley. And then he gets him. That's strikeout number 3 for Miley. He retires the side in order here, and the Orioles will be coming up. Trumbo to the plate. Days has kind of gone around Baltimore to the northeast. The Red Sox Yankees game in Boston, that was called off quite a long time ago. They have set a day-night doubleheader now for July 16. It's a Sunday, so they're going to remake that one. This would have been this game of the series in Boston. You see the light rain still falling here, not enough to stop play, at least at the moment. And Pruitt, 27-year-old right-hander, will be working to Trumbo, Kim, and Scope here in the 2nd inning. There's Mark Trumbo. Mark with an 0 for 4 last night, DHing in the ball game. He's not had a hit in his last 14 times up, so Mark is due. The shift on against him in the infield and outfield, playing a bit to right. Trumbo will take the pitch, and it'll be there for a strike. And as we see so often, play to pull in the infield and then the other way on fly balls. StatCast brought to you by Amazon Web Services. Pruitt with the 0-1 delivery. That's there.
Yeah, so fastball, slider, curveball. We haven't seen a change. Looks like he can really, I mean, look where the glove is. I mean, maybe gets this one up, but right on the corner. Looks like this kid has 27 walks in 166 innings.
Come ready to hit.
Yeah, he's going to be around the plate, and it looks like, again, I always thought that when I was coming up through the minors, they taught me you throw a ball down away, righty to righty, lefty to lefty. You got to have a good windup to do it, because you got to stay back, you got to get out in front, got it over your front side. Allows you to throw everything out in front of you. Easier to do that.
1-2 delivery, worked that one away and missed with it. So evens up the count. Pruitt at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tampa Bay, they've lost their last 2 ball games. They've fallen below 500. They are 10-11 now. They are 4.5 games off the pace in the East, with the Orioles on top with the 2-game lead coming into today's play. And the 2-2 delivery to Trumbo. Mark will take that outside, and the count's 3-2. The Trumbo works him to the full count. Mark has not had the hits at home he'd like to get early on. They just haven't been there for him, with a 176 average at Camden Yards in the 9 games played here. 3-2 delivery, and got him.
Yeah, ends up 92 outside middle. He kind of in between, trying to maybe watch the leg kick. He said, I don't like to do this, but I got to change something. I mean, the home run, the walk off on opening day, that's his only home run of the year. And then once again, pretty good pitch outside third. Wasn't down the middle, but when he's hot, he probably won't miss this pitch.
So a strikeout and a walk on the board for Pruitt. Young-Soo Kim 1 for 3 with a home run in the ball game last night, and Kim will take the pitch for a strike.
Yeah, kind of turned the game around, and of course you can see the last home run, September 28, 2016, a missile, 3-1. Braves were ahead. That would make it 3-2. Schopp would hit one right after him, tie it up.
He's put good numbers up against Tampa Bay in somewhat limited chances. 348 batting average against the Rays. 8 hits. 23 at bats, 7 career games. A little tough to see. I think that rain kind of floating across the field like a fog right now. The outfielders.
Yeah, I thought the ball. I mean, that's why I thought the ball the Weeks hit that Adam caught right at the top of the wall and dead center at the end of the first inning. It was out of here because of the mist.
Yeah.
Of course, he's playing a little bit deeper, so it's almost like he's looking over the wall, and the next thing you know, it's in his glove. And Miley out of the inning.
1-2 delivery to Kim, breaking ball.
Yeah, it's a good take right there. Yeah, I think the rule of thumb now, when you look at what's going on with Kim, is that he could hit the fastball. That's what he hit last night. So when you can, if you have the kind of stuff and you can control it, try to get him out some other way.
2 ball, 2 strike count. A big gap in right center for him. Ooh,
got the uniform.
That will nick him, and he's on.
Okay, so there again, I mean, Derek Norris, he had a lot of choices. He had the curveball, he had the changeup, he had the slider, but he wants to throw a fastball in, and then you got a young pitcher that over kind of yanks it, and it just gets the. I mean, this is kind of let's say the facial, so it must have got a little bit of them, but didn't plunk them hard.
Second hit batter by Pruitt this year, and Kim is on with 1 away in the second inning. I'll bring up Jonathan Schopp. Jonathan, one of the blows, one of the 3 home runs in the ball game last night. A couple of RBIs. Jonathan will go after another one on the breaking ball, going down and away. Jonathan's had a hot bat of late, last 12. He's hit .357. That followed a 2 for 19 spread. He's gotten the swing straightened out for the moment and is hitting the ball hard. 0-1 delivery to him. Again pitched away. Same pitch, same result.
Well, take a look over the last 5 games. 3 of those home runs. One of them last night tied the game up off of Chris Archer. Fastball up and away. And then, again, if you make the kind of pitches that Austin Pruitt just made, you get pretty much anybody out. But if you make a mistake, Jonathan is a pretty good breaking ball hitter. You better get it off the plate, right where Norris is sitting.
0-2 outside. Back to the bag goes Kim at first. And a 1 ball 2 strike count. Pruitt trying to keep the cleats clean.
Well, that's the hardest thing. That and can you feel the ball, because it's going to get a little bit wet. It's not quite as cold as it was last night.
1-2, only 1 out. Infield shifted all the way around now. They hadn't been, but on the 2 strike count they play him to pull in the infield. 1-2 delivery, and he pumps it the other way.
But when you look at his numbers, and you talked about him, 9th round draft pick, out of Texas. But again, I mean, he only walked to what, 101 and 519 innings, and he worked his way up. 147, 160. That was Double-A last year. 160, what, 2 innings. So he got the pitch. That's what you want with young guys. And it looks to me that he's got a pretty good idea of what he wants to try to do.
1-2 delivery coming. Runner stays at first, and the pitch is going to be away. Well, the Oriole hitters taking a look at someone they didn't take much of a look at before the game because they didn't know he was going to be out there pitching.
Well, they probably had the scouting report, but not the focus. As you look at Erasmo Ramirez, who they know. I mean, they know that, you know, he's a sinker baller and he's going to throw a lot of grounders. And they know that, you know, he's got a little slider, but Pruitt, man, he's a 4-pitch pitcher.
Yeah. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Kim off first base. Jonathan will take another one away. Same pitch, and the count goes 3-2. The Orioles made another roster move today. They called up the left-hander Paul Fry from AAA Norfolk. Stephon Crichton was sent down. He'll be back at some point. And there in the middle is Paul Fry, the left-hander. Only a couple of outings at AAA Norfolk. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Runner not going. And Scope to third off the bag. Fair ball. It'll go into foul territory. Kim on his way to third base. Borges will get it back in, and a double picked up by Jonathan Scope.
Well, last night Seth Smith getting hit, and then Adam Jones hit the home run, so you're hoping that maybe the hit's batsman. And right here, here's a slider that doesn't get to the corner. So again, it's a ground ball, but because of the location, he gets to it. You could see him reach for it, but again, I mean, you don't realize how big Jonathan Scope is, and great angle right here as he just hooks it right off the top of the bag.
Well, big chance for the Orioles right here. The infield is going to move in here in the second inning with 1 out, runners on at second and third. The Orioles went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position last night.
It was one of those nights, other than the home runs. I mean, 1 for 16, both clubs.
Yeah.
The Rays were 1 for 9.
I mean, the infield is in. Breaking ball is also in there for a strike.
And then Souza Jr. out and right. Look how shallow he is. I mean, he's just out here, just kind of. I think you got the world's fastest center fielder, Kiermaier.
Cover the outfield.
Yeah.
JJ's been real good in these situations. 308 this year with runners in scoring position. Ground ball, runner not coming. Shortstop Beckham, wet ball, gets it over there. So they got what they wanted with the drawn in infield, and there are 2 down.
What a great pitch that Pruitt made. Just he dropped a curveball off to get ahead, and then threw the low and away slider, and then watch him get around it. They just couldn't wait. Unless you let it travel, try to hit it to right. But again, the slider is so hard when you throw it well to pick up.
So Caleb Joseph will get the opportunity.
Well, he gets a base hit. They're going to be a big party because he didn't drive in a run last year.
And still looking for one this year. So Caleb up.
He could hit about an 18 hopper right to where the second baseman used to play, who is now. I mean, they even play Caleb. I mean, look where. That's your second baseman playing right behind Jonathan Scope.
Caleb will take a breaking ball for a strike on the outside corner. 0-1.
And he's not going to say anything because that ball was about 3 inches outside. He said, because I want that same pitch for my guy.
Big chance for the Orioles early on. Important moment. Pruitt trying to work his way out of the jam. Kim hit by a pitch at third base. Scope with the double is on at second. Joseph takes another one. Started to move the bat, held up on it, and a 1-ball 1-strike count. Caleb's hit only $179 against this Tampa Bay team in 30 previous games against them. He has had a couple of home runs against the Rays.
Well, his power is down and in, and I mean, that's where he just drops the head of the bat.
1-1 delivery by Pruitt. Working away to these right-handed hitters, not chasing though. 2-1.
Well, he's kind of on the first base side, so his direct angle, and we've seen him do it all night long. I mean, here only in the second inning. I mean, it's right to the outside corner.
They got the rally caps on for Caleb. They want him to get an RBI. 2-ball, 1-strike delivery on the way, and that will be fouled away and even up the count at 2-2.
Well, you know, I mean, we're walking down the hallway, and I said, "Oh, you're in there again." I kind of talked about that last night because you've been catching Miley, and then they have the hitters. He's hitting 9th, but on the actual batting order, there's Miley, and I said, "Well, it could be worse. You could be hitting 10th," and he just kind of laughs. But I mean, the whole world will be a nicer place if he can get a base hit.
All the starters for the Orioles in the Red Sox getting somebody back and losing another one. Josh Rutledge, who had been on the DL, activated, replacing Pablo Sandoval for the Red Sox, who had to go on the DL. The injury suffered here in the last game they played against the Orioles. Yankees have won 13 of the last 17 series against Boston. That's pretty amazing. They were rained out tonight. And Marco Estrada, 0-5 against the Cardinals in his career. He'll be on the mound tonight for Toronto as they will take on the Cardinals in interleague play. Look around the American League East. And
well, that's an appropriate look for tonight.
Absolutely. Cover up as the light rain continues to fall. First pitch hit into right field is going to fall in for a base hit. So Borges didn't wait on that one. Borges on with the single to lead off the 3rd inning. They get the leadoff man on base for the first time in 3.
Yeah, we first saw Peter Borges with the Angels, and you know he's got very good speed, but he's not a base stealer. And again, you're not going to be running on Wade Miley. I mean, he can hold you on with the best of them. What, he's picked off 25 guys in his career. So you obviously the ability and the speed to go from 1st to 3rd, but. And you can see right there just testing him, and he was already on his way back.
Yep. Miley's got a pretty funky move over there that's tough to read. Steven Souza Jr., top of the order, flied out to right field. His first time up. Kiermaier waiting on deck. And the pitch will be a strike on the outside corner.
Well, the strike zone has gotten bigger, and I don't know if it's the rain or not. It was pretty tight in the 1st.
You can see the rain continues to come down and supposed to get heavier. That'll be foul back, and a 2-strike count as Miley gets ahead of it. The right-handers against Miley coming in 7 for 53 with 1 home run. Neither righties nor lefties been able to do much against him with that amazing 127 combined batting average by hitters against him this year. 0-2 delivery hit hard. That's going to be a base hit. Turn will be made at 2nd and will stay there as Kim gets it back in. 2-1. Well, the Orioles return to Oriole Park on Friday, May 5 to begin a 3-game series against the White Sox. Saturday, May 6, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over receive an Orioles tote bag presented by MLB Network. And on Sunday, May 7, the kids 4 to 14 get to run the bases presented by Wise Markets. You can get your tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD.
Now you got to imagine they're bunting here.
Orioles defense playing it that way. Kiermaier, they got a pick off at 2nd. They got him. Great throw by Caleb Joseph. Run down tag, and the runner goes back to 1st. Everything right on that one for the Orioles.
Well, before the DH, I used to actually get on base, used to pinch run, and one of the hardest plays is when you're on 2nd trying to get a good jump and the hitter bunts through the ball, and that's exactly what Kiermaier did. And Borges gets out on his front foot and then heads up, and a rocket throw by Caleb Joseph. Oh, that's a rally killer.
Boy, that's a great play. Throw over and almost caught him flat-footed. Getting back into the bag is Souza.
Yeah, take a look. So now he's going to try to bunt. So again, it looked to me he's trying to bunt it, and he just gets the lead. It's a wet field. It's just a matter of tagging him. Nice tag by Hardy considering the conditions. Fakes him back, tags, and then Souza doesn't know what to do.
He was kind of a third of the way down and not enough to go to second base, so he ends up back at first base, 1 out. Kiermaier, strikeout victim his first time up. A little roller to Scope. Got time, 1. That's all they'll get on the forced play.
Yeah, there are no easy plays when the field gets wet. I mean, the ball's wet, your footing's not the same, but this is a nice play right here. Quick, get the lead runner. You know you're not going to get it 2. No, not the way Kiermaier runs. Make sure you get the out and the lead out.
And they do. So the Orioles D coming to the 4. By the way, that is called a court caught stealing on Borges. He was moving towards third, and that the official score said that was enough. Pitch will be taken outside, so Caleb gets his first base stealer, and 1 for 3. And not much he could do on that. Caleb with a very strong throw. Infield moves around to Longoria, 1-0 delivery, and he'll foul that one the other way. Longoria drew a walk, 1 of 2 surrendered by Miley so far in the ballgame. Scoreless game early on. The 2 pitchers finding some big outs. Each team has had chances. Lob toss over there that time, and not far off the bag was Kiermaier.
Yeah, Wade Miley, I mean, they've only scored what 4 runs a game for him, so not a lot of run support. That's why the 2 no decisions.
Ball off the fist, center field. Adams got it, and that will do it. Good defense for the Orioles, really helps Miley along. Caleb Joseph with a throw to Hardy. They got the runner off second. Baltimore has won 500 after being selected. 500 more for every Orioles home run hit tonight. Play Home Run Rich's scratch-offs went up to 50,000. Or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Go to mdlottery.com/home run. Najee, good luck. As the Orioles got 3 last night. Our Maryland lottery contestant. Austin Pruitt on the mound with a walk and 2 strikeouts as we go to the 3rd inning. Seth Smith, top of the order, hit the ball hard, lined out to Morrison at first base in his first at bat of the ball game. Shift will be put on against him. And the right-hander's delivery to him will miss for a ball. Rain has stopped again.
Yeah, you kind of wonder how many innings he was stretched out in spring training, and We'll probably see when the pitch count gets to what it's at 42 now, so maybe 60, 65 pitches. And
1-0 delivery on the way. It was interesting. Tampa Bay's manager out, Kevin Cash, checking with the umpires between innings, asking, I'm sure, about the weather circumstances. Concerned about how long he wants to leave Pruitt in. Does he want to get Ramirez up, the scheduled starter? They do have bullpen action going already. Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way, and that will be down low. So here's Farquhar, a reliever. We may see our first game where it's done as some have suggested it should be in this day and age. Start with a bullpen and just keep going with it for 9 innings. While Ramirez, the scheduled starter, sits and watches. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Another big cut, ball right there at the plate.
well, the one thing about Austin Pruitt, he's very few pitches. I mean, here's one that's a little more in the middle of the plate, and you can see the swing, big swing by Seth Smith. Try to get a fastball by him. That's the one he hit right to Morrison. And they had that shift on, so hard to let you hit it right over the bag to get a double.
Miller way out there in right field, second baseman. 2 ball, 2 strike delivery from Pruitt. Got that one to deep center field. Kiermaier will make the catch. Smith is retired. Oriole fans, when the O's score 5 runs or more, get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com. Promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
I wonder if Scott Coolbaugh, the Oriole hitting instructor, knows about that.
What's that?
$5, 50% off pizzas, 5 runs.
You're saying there haven't been a lot of pizzas delivered?
Well, no, I'm not saying that, but I mean that would be certainly an impetus, and I'm sure that Roger McDowell, pitching coach, would chip in along with Alan Mills.
And a swing and a miss by Adam.
Because we know, I mean, what the magic number is usually 4 or more.
Yes.
And you're going to have a heck of a record. So
you can get those 5.
5, and then you get to eat pizza.
You win and you get
Papa
pizza.
John's is good too.
Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way, and Adam will take that one outside.
I know we kind of got the pom-poms out early in the year, and it didn't help. I haven't seen any pizzas in the. We were in New York or something. Remember the pizzas up? They got them stacked up in boxes.
Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way. The other thing I forgot tonight, I was going to call over to Boogs. How did I forget that?
Wait a minute.
We need a barbecue sandwich.
Boog!
Oh. Maybe a little too damp for Boog himself to be out there tonight, but then again, perhaps not. Out there where the barbecue is, Boog's barbecue. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Adam, 1 down, nobody on. Manny Machado waiting on deck. No shift on here against Jones. Pruitt's delivery comes with 91 and will just miss inside.
Well, you can see in and out, in and out. I mean, really has a nice idea how to pitch. I was looking at him saying, well, is this guy going to be in there? Even though he has a little bit of age on him, top 10 prospects? Nope. Look at the young guys down at A-ball.
But he gets the start.
Yes.
Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and nasty.
Yep.
Jammed him inside again, and Pruitt will get his 3rd strikeout, 2 down.
Well, he's a starting pitcher. He's got 4 pitches. That's why, you know, normally. So again, 92 will play when you have this kind of curveball and the command he's had with his slider. And that's a good hook. I don't see too many curveballs. That's what got him out of the last inning, the strikeout of Caleb Joseph on a curveball that stayed up a little bit more, but same result.
So Adam down and Manny Machado. Bases are empty. Manny coming in just a .228 lifetime average against Tampa Bay pitchers, who in the course of Manny's young career have been pretty darn good and still are. 1-0 count with 2 down. Pruitt looking pretty good in his first major league start. And a swing and a miss as he stays down and away to the right-handers.
Well, I think that was the first changeup he's thrown, and he's really mixed him up. that. I mean, it acted like a splitter. It went straight down. There's Jim Hickey, the pitching coach. And he, you know, when you pitch for Tampa, especially as a starter, you should have a pretty good idea of commanding the baseball.
That one to short, and it will be hauled in. Beckham to get it, and the Orioles are retired in order. We've completed game 2 of the 3-game set, and it is scoreless. Baseball is brought to you by the all-wheel drive RAV4. Toyota, what drives you? Visit buyatoyota.com for great deals. Back here at Camden Yards, a fan of young Soo Kim on hand here at the ballpark. Had the home run in the ball game last night, hit by a pitch his first time up, getting the start in left field for the Orioles tonight as Buck Showalter continues to try and get him more at bats. When he's been in, he's delivered for the Orioles. Wade Miley has done the same, pitching duel again. There are the numbers through the first 3 innings. Miley worked out of the jam in the first with a couple on and 2 down. First pitch will be popped up by Brad Miller. Manny Machado in foul territory will put it away.
Yeah, nice little curveball.
So a quick out for Wade. He's got Weeks and Morrison due up in the inning. Ricky Weeks, the designated hitter tonight, flying out to center field his first time up, so he's now 4 for 14 lifetime against the left-hander Miley.
Yeah, about as deep as you could hit it and keep it in the park.
Way out there in center, and there were 2 on base.
It might be an August home run. Heavier air tonight, a little bit colder.
He's only had 1 hit this year against left-handers. He's gone 1 for 13, and the only hit against a lefty this year was a home run. And the pitch to him is going to miss up high. 82 on that one, and a 2-0 count.
I get the feeling you better make your pitch, or he's going to have a hefty swing. And again, you could see Wade Miley in a 0-0 game with weather all around us, being pretty careful. Did it to Longoria back in the first.
Staying away from that power.
Well, he's probably hitting 3-0.
3-0 delivery, not close. So Miley wanted nothing to do with him, and the 1-out walk puts Weeks on. Say, don't miss out on the Junior Orioles Dugout Club. Ace plans sold out. Limited number of slugger plans remain. You can sign up. Birdland's best value and family entertainment. Members, memberships just $25. Tickets to 6 games and a variety of exclusive items. Join today at Orioles.com/dugout club. There's a man who's joined up. Happy to be. Hit it to me.
I like the. How about the glove?
That's pretty good.
Match the hoodie.
Yes. Good looking piece of leather over there. Look at that.
There we go.
Very descriptive terms as to how this game is going. One down, Logan Morrison at the plate. Morrison grounded out his first time up.
Yeah, got a nice slider to hit it hard, but right at scope.
Morrison has had good luck in this ballpark. He's a .273 career hitter here at Camden Yards, which ends up being about 30 points higher than his overall average against the Orioles. The infield on the count will move around now. The full shift on. Down low, blocked by Caleb. Runner will remain at first base. And the count goes 2-0. Jumbo Diaz now up in the bullpen. Farquhar had been up before. Caleb not real happy last couple of pitches thrown, so he goes out to the mound. Caleb with a walk seen to Weeks, and then 2 more here. That's 6 in a row out of the strike zone.
Well, you just don't. At least my philosophy was, when you get behind hitters, you have to throw strikes, and they're waiting. I mean, you got to aim for more of the plate, and that's the way the first inning went. And that ball just a little bit low.
So 7 in a row out of the strike zone, and a 3-0 count on Morrison, with Beckham waiting on deck. Coming in, Miley had walked 8 in 19 innings worked in the previous 3 starts he had.
And 5 of them in that one game against the Yankees on a Sunday afternoon.
He'll get that one in there for a strike.
So again, his control has been really good. The scoreboard a lot of times makes you sometimes think you have to be perfect. This one, all kinds of part of the plate, and he was obviously taking.
Got a no decision against the Yankees. His win against Toronto, and then the ND game against Cincinnati. 3-ball, 1 strike delivery on the way, and a big cut fouled away. Logan Morrison going after that one.
Well, he really does swing hard. I mean, Corey Dickerson, I mean, they really have bat speed. Last year we saw him at the end of the year. He had some wrist problems, had to have that left tendon repaired, and of course he was a free agent, but ended up re-signing here with the Rays.
Morrison, a veteran now, 29 years old, 7 years at the major league level, and he is on with a walk. So Miley has surrendered a couple of free passes here with 1 away, and we'll see as Beckham will be coming up. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule, brought to you by Mile One, offering you 20 convenient locations throughout the Baltimore area. Visit them in store or online at mile1.com. Finish up with the Rays here, and then the Orioles will go on the road. New York and Boston Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Note the start times. You got the night game Friday, 2 day games Saturday and Sunday. Beckham, a strikeout victim his first time up, pitch way up high. Beckham has the lowest average in the league with runners in scoring position, just 1 for 16. Tampa Bay tonight 0 for 1 in these chances.
Yeah, and he's been rather red hot. He's hit 8 out of 9. I mean, hitting close to 300. Sometimes all it takes is 1 hit.
Runner goes, and that's going to be a base hit into right center field. Weeks took off from second base. Morrison's on his way to third, and an RBI single by Beckham. And one of the walks has scored, and the Rays get to the board first, 1-0.
Yeah, but to me, I mean, that's pretty good managing by Kevin Cash, because again, what happens when you put a guy in play and you put the hit and run on? You cut your swing down. And, you know, Tim Beckham, former #1 draft choice in the country. I mean, he just takes a hanging breaking ball, gets a good pitch to hit, and hits it right back up the middle.
So Beckham gets him on the board. That'll be his 6th RBI of the season.
And by getting Morrison all the way to third, now all of a sudden Derek Norris, who's been struggling, you can see the 161 batting average. A fly ball gets you another run.
Struck out his first time up. He'll take a strike. He's 4 for 16 with runners in scoring position on the year. So Tampa Bay on the board, a 1-0 lead, still only 1 away. The infield will play for 2, with Beckham, the base runner, on at first, and Morrison on at third. 0-1 delivery up and in.
I see. So now you struck him out on a changeup down and away. You can see Caleb saying, okay, well, maybe we'll pound him in now, because we're trying to strike him out, pop him up. And again, the strike to ball ratio not where you want.
Derek Norris, their catcher. Here's the 1-1 to him. Garner your attention. Beard a little shorter than when he came to the plate.
Well, again, I mean, he's established a way when he's thrown strikes tonight, and then he tries to come up and in and not close. But you're right. I mean, close to him, but not close to being a strike.
And the count goes to 2-1. And that's going to go towards the gap. It'll stay up, though. Runner will tag. Making the catch, Smith. Here's the throw to first. Not going to get anybody there. Sack fly and an RBI. So Norris gets it done. A productive at bat. And the Rays take a 2-0 lead. Morrison scores after having drawn the walk.
Well, again, Kevin Cash, he started the runner. He got created not only Beckham getting the hit, but getting the runner to third. And then Norris gets him in. So a 2-0 lead.
For Norris, that'll be RBI number 6 on the year. Smith threw in behind, hoping to catch Beckham, maybe watching the play towards the plate rather than towards first base. Peter Borges had a base hit his first time up. Borges in the 9 spot, getting the start in left field in the ball game. One-0 count. Short lead at first. Fouled off. Borges of the Hunter Pence fashion variety. You take a look at where he's got those socks. Hunter Pence wears them even a little bit higher than that. Pence wears them above the knees, but that's about as high as you'll see other than Pence.
Yeah, Pence a little bit taller. Yeah, Adams got that look. Apparently too many low strikes have been called.
Yes.
Get the pants up.
1-1 delivery. That'll miss away from Wade Miley, and the pitch count moving up on Miley here in the.
I mean, I say that jokingly, but if you're an umpire, it's easier. I mean, even though you're trying to, but you're trying to call it in relative to where the knees are. You can see him a little bit better.
And he went around on that. Home plate umpire will make the call himself, Jim Hoy. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Borges. So yes. Miley trying to get out of it.
Yeah, 7 walks last night for the Orioles. Tonight we got 4, and 2 of them scored here in the 4th.
Borges will take the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Beckham at first will be running with 2 down. With a right-handed batter up, Chris Davis is going to stay on the bag and not give Beckham any extra steps.
And he's not going to get much of a lead, otherwise he'll get himself picked off.
A little chopper that's going to go foul.
You could see how good the move is, because he actually took a lead and then was leaning back towards first. The last thing when you're not running 3-2, do you want to take that bat out of the hitter's hands? A little delay. Make sure he delivers it home.
Borges played with the Cardinals 2015. Last year 123 games with the Phillies. 251 and another walk. So Miley in trouble here in the 4th inning. That's 4 walks surrendered, and 3 of them have come here in the same inning. And it turns the order over with 2 on, and it will bring Roger McDowell up to the mound.
Yeah, where was that pitch? And of course it was close. It's just, you've got a couple of calls in the 1st, and since then it's just not calling that pitch. And right here, this is just kind of calmed down. Just need it out. Not easy to do, but you need it out to get out of the inning.
Wade had only 1 walk in his last 2 starts after he walked 7 in the first start of the year in 5 innings against the Yankees, but he gave up only 1 hit in that ball game. So McDowell has his say. Runners on at first and second base. Steven Souza Jr. He and Adam Jones are the best 2 right now in the American League with runners in scoring position. Souza's 11 for 22. And the pitch is taken for a strike. He had a base hit his last time.
Yeah, gutty pitch there, because that's the same pitch he hit, except he located it better. He hung the one, and he just smoked it into left field. That time dropped it off the outside corner.
Leadoff spot. Souza will go after it and miss. Good pitch by Miley. That one he kept down.
Well, again, a lot of times you got to slow the game down. You know, there's a tendency when you're going up a couple of runs, I'm just going to power my way through the inning, and that doesn't always work for Wade Miley because he's got a good breaking ball and he's got a good changeup.
0-2 will be away. Steven Souza Jr. Couple of RBIs he's after. There's the number of the runner in scoring position. Tampa Bay overall 5th as a team, 257. 1-2 delivery, another breaking ball he wouldn't go after.
Yeah, the April record, I guess what Zobrist drove in 19 back in 2013, so he's 2 away from that total.
Good time to do it.
Yeah, well, the way he's been hitting, I mean, he's 1 swing away from going ahead.
2-ball, 2-strike count. Miley's slowing down a bit. Runners off first and second. 2-2 delivery and a called strike, and there goes the bat. And he's out of the game or warned, one or the other. Souza to the point from Jim Hoy, the home plate umpire, after he tossed the bat. He didn't give the thumbs out sign, but he did point at him. Watch the bat go. And even Souza was concerned after he flipped it about how hard he may have or may not have flipped it. And then Hoy pointed at him. We'll see if it's a warning or if he's out of there. 2-zip Rays. And he's in right field, so he was not thrown out of the ball game. Home plate umpire Jim Hoy pointing at him, giving him a warning about the flip of the bat. But Souza stays in, and Pruitt is out.
Yeah, really pitched well. You don't find too many guys this young that come up and command the ball like he did. So again, he made some big pitches. Again, spot start for him, and can't win the game because he didn't pitch long enough. And Danny Farquhar will come on, who's a great changeup, 92-mile-per-hour fastball. He also has got the big curveball, and his big swing and miss pitch. If he's going to strike people out, you can see the high numbers by the righties. Lefties, he's really dominated is the changeup, and he likes to throw it. And again, it throws hard enough to make you conscious of that pitch.
So Farquhar on in relief, and the pitch taken for a strike by Chris Davis. Chris grounded out his first time up, bottom half of the 4th inning. A 2-0 lead for Tampa Bay. Shift on against Chris, and over the top on that one.
Well, there's the change, and runs in 3 of his last 5 appearances, so the ERA has jumped a little bit. Almost from about 160 all the way to about 5.5 runs a game.
0-2 delivery by the right-hander doing. That's going to go the other way. That's going to be a base hit. Longoria the only one over there with a shift on, so Chris gets the infield single to start the 4th inning.
Well, when's the last time you ever saw Chris Davis hit 2 ground balls in the first 2 at bats of any game to the other side. And one of the reasons here, I think, again, I just think he's healthy this year, and also making a little more contact with 2 strikes, put the ball in play, and sometimes you get fortunate. That's what that was. Good pitch by Farquhar, just nothing to show for him.
That'll bring Trumbo to the plate. Strikeout victim his first time up. He is 0 for 3 off Farquhar. Short lead at first. Pitch up high for a ball. Farquhar in his career has a 0-2 record with 2 saves against the Orioles. He's worked 13 2/3 innings, 5 runs, 8 hits the Orioles have against him in previous seasons. 1-0 delivery on the way. Cuts that one across the outside corner for a strike. Bullpen's going to be active. We are seeing a game in which the bullpen is going to be it for Tampa Bay after scratching their starter. Ramirez, who was going to go because of weather, they said. They pulled him out of the starting role, put Pruitt in, so now it's all bullpen. Trumbo to be followed by Kim. Two ball, 1 strike count. Came up, jammed him at 92.
Yeah.
And a 2 ball, 2 strike count. Mark needs one just to feel good right now. Just base hit, however it might come. Pops that one up, first base side. Morrison, foul territory. 1 away, runner remains at first base. Take a look at our PNC minor league report. PNC for the achiever in you.
Well, how about these numbers? A standing ovation for the minor league hitting instructors. Those kind of numbers. AA, A ball, AAA, AA ball. Of course, Cedric Mullins, the guy everybody talking about. So we'll see how
take those averages and run.
What if it was August and they were all hitting that?
We'd be there covering the game. And the pitch is in there for a strike. Left-handers off Farquhar. They've had 3 hits, a bunt, a swinging bunt, and the Chris Davis single. Those are the 3 hits by lefties so far. Farquhar. Kim, of course, got his first hit off a left-hander the other day. He doesn't get a chance very often. Taken for a strike, 0-2.
Well, there's the changeup, and again, until the rolling base hit, the lefties were 2 for 15 against Andy Farquhar. And again, the changeup has a lot to do with that. He does have a big curveball to go with it.
Pretty good cut.
Yep.
Kim keeping his at bat alive with a runner on at first base. The infield at double play depth against left-handers. That hit came in his first at bat against a lefty this year. 1 for 1. Pitch to him, and he went after it. Way down. Farquhar gets the strikeout, 2 away.
Well, this is what he does right here. I mean, there's the changeup, and again, you almost swing straight down because you can see him. It's like a palm ball. Acts like a splitter, goes right down. Great arm speed.
So the night of the bullpen continues for the Rays. Single in 3 batters' face. Diaz coming on.
Jiffy Lube stores now do brake services. Stop in and let Jiffy Lube perform a free brake inspection today. The Jumbo Diaz, and he is a jumbo. He's a big guy, a hard thrower, 97 mile per hour. That's where he kind of tops out. Hard slider. And again, last year pitched with Cincinnati. So Tommy Hunter, as you mentioned last night, Gary, with a calf pull. So, and again, very low numbers. You kind of mix your match way through the Oriole lineup. Jonathan Scoop, big night last night, big week. And again, if you look at our Jim Coons AL League leaders, Jonathan Scope on first pitch. So everybody says, well, I mean, Joey Gallo hits him a mile. Altuve 200 plus hits. Chris Davis with great numbers. Again, on base percentage and slugging on the first pitch. And those are your Jim Coons AL League leaders. Get a good pitch to hit, whale on it.
As a double in the ball game, stranded in the second inning, will face Jumbo Diaz, the 33-year-old veteran of La Romana in the Dominican Republic. And yes, 6'4", 278 is what he is listed at. Major league totals, 3-3 record and 142 games, and every single one of them as a reliever. 2 down. Runner on at first base, shift on. Scope to be followed by Hardy. And Diaz delivers, and that one sliding across hard at 88 for the first strike.
Yeah, that's his big swing and miss. You know, the fastball, they swing through that maybe 7-8% of the time, but 13% of the swinging strikes was on that pitch right there.
Infield looking for the ground ball here. That'll be tapped foul off the end of the bat.
And there's another one.
Interesting to see how many pitchers we see for Tampa Bay in this game tonight using this bullpen. Kevin Cash has been short out there because of injuries, and tonight really going to be tested as to how this bullpen will go.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, is supposed to be more weather coming in. Maybe Kevin Cash thinking, okay, this may be a shortened game.
The way these have gone the last couple of nights, that's probably don't want to count on that.
No.
We played last night on the night where most people thought we wouldn't even start and ended up getting it all in. Chris Davis on a base hit to lead off the inning, but there are 2 away now. And Scope with the 0-2 count.
2 consecutive sliders, and they were good ones.
Set up away, and that one is going to get him. So Diaz comes on. He gets the strikeout. No runs a hit. A base runner left on. Tampa Bay on top 2-0. Masson is brought to you by PNC Bank for the achiever in you, and by American Standard Heating and Air. Get up to $1,100 in instant rebates or 0% APR for 36 months. Few raindrops around tonight, not at the moment. And a 2-0 lead for the Rays. Only 5 total hits in the ball game. Wade Miley, 4 walks and 4 strikeouts. Goes to work here in the 5th inning. He's thrown 100, 100, and 101 pitches in the starts he has made. 5 innings has generally been where Wade has come out. We'll see what happens here. Kiermaier, fielder's choice, and he is struck out. Longoria, then Miller due up. That'll go to first. Davis, fair ball, will turn back and get the out. Good play by Chris. Kiermaier out of there. On Saturday, May 6th, the Birds battle the White Sox, 7:05. First 20,000 fans 15 and over get the Orioles tote bag presented by MLB Network. Great seats remain but won't last. Get your tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Boog, the sandwiches are delicious.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Very nice.
Who needs pizza?
Foul back.
Boog's barbecue.
Love that sauce. He's drawn a walk and he is flied out to center field.
Well, and Boog, I mean, Boog years ago came in and there were also a special spice that they put on the beef too. Yeah.
Yep.
So
0-1 delivery is inside at the feet. At 89, there's your shift with Davis, the only one over there on the right. Longoria will foul that outside of third base. 1 for 4 last night. 1 for 5 now in the first 2 games. Orioles have really done a number over the last 11 games here in this ballpark against the Rays. The Orioles are 9-2 here in Baltimore against Tampa Bay. 1-2 delivery is going to be away, but the Rays have the 2-0 lead in this one. Pitch will be foul back again. Longoria now 5 for 25 off Miley. He has had a couple of career home runs against the Orioles left-hander.
well, we showed you that number last night. What, 35 lifetime home runs, 20 here at Camden Yards.
Wade stayed away from the long ball so far this year. Been in pretty good shape.
See, I mean, that's normally a strike, and he's not happy because it. And neither is Buck. You want to shoot the dugout, but check it. I mean, it went over the plate, and again, it's not where you catch it. But again, it looked like it had the corner, but it's a tight strike zone tonight.
7th pitch of the at bat will miss down, and the walk. Second one picked up by Longoria.
Well, again, he's not wild, but that certainly elevates the pitch count.
5 walks in the game, and 1 on and 1 down.
I think actually considering. Let's go to Sarasota, Gary.
It's warmer there. So much to see and do in the beaches and islands of Sarasota, Florida's Gulf Coast. Sophisticated ambiance at Lido Key. Great 3 beaches there. Don't miss a stop at St. Armand Circle, a mecca for foodies and shopaholics. Plan now. Sarasota.com is where you go to make your plans. Down low for a ball to Miller, who's popped out and walked. Brad Miller with a 6 for 19 off the left-handers, and 6 walks for Wade Miley now. Swing and a miss. 2 of them scored in the 4th inning. And the walk surrendered with 1 away. Davis, nice play. Get the lead runner at second base.
Really is. I mean, because if you've ever picked up a wet baseball in your backyard, number one, it weighs a little bit more, even though that ball was briefly. It's a tough play, only because you got to catch it on the run and then hope that you get a good grip. And it's hard when you don't have a lot of time to find a seam. But again, very vastly underrated first baseman Chris Davis.
So again, they get the lead runner. Miller takes over at first base, and Ricky Weeks Jr., the designated hitter, coming up. He drew a walk, scored in the 4th. Morrison behind him had a walk and scored. RBIs. Norris had a sac fly, and Beckham had an RBI single, and those are the 2 runs. Orioles had their best chance in the 2nd inning. Orioles have left 4 on base, 2 in scoring position in the 2nd. 0-1 delivery. Weeks will take that for a strike. Whitley up in the bullpen. Scratch off the guys coming out of the pen. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way, and that one inside out to right, back near the warning track. It'll be hauled in by Seth Smith, and that will do it. Miley gets through the fifth. 2-0 Rays. How about the Orioles bullpen? 1 run, 17 and a third pitch, and all 10 inherited base runners have been stranded. The Royals have scored just 2 or fewer runs in 8 games. That is the longest streak in team history. They're playing tonight against Chicago. The White Sox. Royals have scored 1. They lead the White Sox 1-0 in the second. Jason Hayward of Chicago, 11 RBIs in the last 4. That is the highest total so far this year in 4 Major League Baseball consecutive games. There's that bullpen putting up those big numbers.
Without one of the best closers in baseball, so they don't miss a beat.
Jumbo remains out there. Jumbo Diaz. He will work to J.J. Hardy. Hardy goes after the first pitch. Kiermaier started back, comes in, a pitch and an out. 1 down with the Rays up by 2. For every Orioles walk, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 supporting the American Diabetes Association. 46 walks, $2,300. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Weather raising havoc around the East Coast. We told you that game in Boston with the Yankees rained out. Marlins Phillies rained out. Just some nasty weather that's taking its toll on some ball games. Diaz an 0-1 count. Caleb Joseph, strikeout victim, his first time up. Diaz has pitched a slider away.
And he has yet to give up a home run. I mean, the Orioles need a little bit of help. They've only had one, well, really 2 opportunities, and that was back in the second when Hardy with runners at second and third, he grounded out, and then Caleb was called out on strikes. It's pretty much been it.
Again, trying to get that outside corner, will miss it, and Diaz with a 2-ball 1-strike count.
He actually pitched for the Orioles, so you go back to 2010 and 2011. Frederick, Bowie, then Norfolk, Bowie the next year, and then a free agent. Started all the way back in, and you mentioned he's 33, all the way back in 2002.
2-1 delivery to Joseph. That is in there. A little off. And a 2-ball 2-strike count on Caleb. Orioles the hits have been hard to come by, as Jim says. I mean, the home runs are the difference. Orioles hitting just .240 as a team. Opponents have out-hit them for average .252. Ground ball will go into the shift. Beckham. Joseph retired, and 2 away. Host your next group outing this summer here at the ballpark. Discounted ticket prices, groups as small as 15, party facilities for up to 1,000. Oriole Park, great group outing experience. Group leaders can earn a variety of incentives. Learn more at Orioles.com/groups. Folks on hand here tonight as they have dressed appropriately and made their way in last night in the rain. 11,000 plus. Top of the order, Seth Smith. He is lined out and flied out. Diaz gets the pitch in at the knees for a strike. Said the bullpen at Tampa Bay has been somewhat depleted because of injuries this season. Former Oriole Tommy Hunter, one of those who's in that category. But they've still they rank 8th as a bullpen in ERA at 3.8. And the 0-1 delivery is in there. 0-2. So Smith quickly behind on the count. Jim Hickey going through that list. Who have I got? Who's going to be up?
Well, they do have a good closer. I mean, he was an all-star closer in Alex Colomé, so they know where it'll end if they have a lead. And he's yet to give up an earned run this year.
He is up and away on the 0-2.
But you want to hang around. That's what the Orioles did last night. Went into the 6th trailing 3-1, and then tied it with a couple of home runs. Won it in the 7th with a 2-run home run by Adam Jones. And just hope that maybe you'll get one of those walks. He keeps the ball in the ballpark, at least so far.
1 ball, 2 strike count on Smith. Nobody on. Seth will foul that into the screen, trying to catch up with a 97-mile-an-hour heater.
Yeah, and then the slider, we've seen it. I mean, he's thrown some real good ones. That's what struck out Scope, and then he's even gotten away with hangers. When you look at body type, he's kind of the right-handed version of CC Sabathia. You know, where they're big and there's a lot going on, and you don't really see the ball very well. And then 97 is 97.
Down to first. Big hop. Morrison to the bag. And a 1-2-3 inning. Diaz gets that one done in a hurry. 5 complete here at Camden Yards. Rays 2, the Orioles nothing. Brought to you by Navy Federal, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years, federally insured by NCUA, and by Antwerpen Toyota. Get in the game this season with a new Toyota from Antwerpen Toyota. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer with you on off and on drizzly night here at Camden Yards. There's the schedule starter tonight who did not start. Ramirez has gone out to the bullpen. He'd been on the bench, taking a little what for from the guys down there. And Whitley's still up and throwing in the bullpen. He's been up for an inning. Wade Miley will remain on for the Orioles going into the 6th inning. Logan Morrison on a bouncer out in front. Morrison has drawn a walk and scored, and he's grounded out.
Yeah, you'd like to have an easy inning, but there haven't been a whole lot of those.
Said 1 3 up 3 down. That was in the 2nd. 1-0 pitch fouled off. Veteran Morrison last year first with the Rays. Played left DH. Had 95 starts. Season was shortened by a couple of injuries. Kept him out, but he had a good year for them.
Well, he's a pretty good defender too. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a big guy, but he moves around well at first.
Morrison down to first and foul.
Yeah, first saw him in Miami and had some really good years, and then he had some knee problems. In his first full year, he had 23 home runs for the Marlins.
Behind here on the count, a ball and 2 strikes. And takes it, and he's gone. And no argument on that one.
Nope, he's on his way. One minute the ball gets over the outside corner. Perfect pitch. And there's pitch number 96, about as well as you can throw it.
5 strikeouts for Miley.
Well, there's such a great feeling when we talked about, okay, I stay over the rubber. That's his problem when he gets a little bit quick. And then I'm able to load and drive the ball to the outside corner. And there's nothing like it. It just kind of gets you into the rhythm you'd like to have as a pitcher, whether you're starting or relieving.
First ball seen by Beckham is fouled away. RBI base hit in the 4th inning. And he has struck out Tim Beckham, their shortstop. They had hoped to get Odorizzi out to pitch a simulated game here today. The weather prevented that, so they moved it back till tomorrow. They'll try it again on Jake Odorizzi, whom they're trying to get back. For the Orioles, the weather affected Joey Rickard. He was supposed to play today, but in the minor leagues that was rained out. Joey could come back on Friday, according to Buck Showalter. As to whether he comes here or goes to the minors, didn't say. Went around on it. Tag will be put on, and Beckham is gone.
Well, look how important your catcher is. I mean, Caleb Joseph on the 2-strike pitch actually points to where he wants it. And then it's a curveball. Again, quality curveball, blocks it because it bounces out in front of home plate. But again, watch this. Throw it down, and he does. I can block it. I can smother it. Nice pitch. And the best fastball he threw was the first pitch to Beckham in '93. And that's because your rhythm's a little bit better.
Norris up the middle into the shift. Jonathan Scope is over there. He's got it in a real quick inning. So the second time in the ball game, he has set the side down 1-2-3. Orioles will try and find some offense. Down 2-0. Page, the Orioles may see another former pitcher, as right-hander David Hernandez was traded from the Atlanta Braves to the Los Angeles Angels today. And in the purchase of the Marlins, Tommy Glavine joined a group headed by Tag Romney, the son of the former presidential candidate They were into by the Marlins, but tonight it's being reported that Derek Jeter and Jeb Bush's group, now they had been in separate groups, they joined together, and apparently they have struck a deal with the ownership of the Marlins to purchase that team. The purchase price has not been seen, but it was reported to be between $1.2 and $1.3 billion.
That's with a B.
That's with a B.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Chase Whitley, you know, good to see him back. We saw him at the end of last year. Tommy John surgery really kept him out for about a year. Came back 5 appearances. So again, I mean, first came up 15th round choice back in 2010. Actually started some games for the Yankees, and then the injury. So last year worked his way back up all the way, pretty much at AA Montgomery, and then those 5 appearances. And this year, actually pretty good low numbers. He's not an overpowering guy, but just like Austin Pruitt, maybe doesn't throw that hard. He's got a real good changeup, slider, curveball, and fastball. And his fastball, 90-91 mile per hour range. Orioles still looking to get on the board somehow.
Adam Jones will lead it off against Whitley. Adam is 2 for 7 off the right-hander. Goes after the first pitch. Adam has struck out, grounded out. Alec Asher is up in the bullpen for the Orioles. Miley has worked through 6. Has been, but for that 4th inning and a couple of walks that cost him, he's been effective here, having surrendered only 2 runs on 3 hits. The Orioles, though, have picked up only 2 hits in the ball game. Davis's infield single in the 4th inning and the Scope double that came in the 2nd. That's been it. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Jumbo Diaz a great job an inning and a third. 1 strikeout, nothing else. 1-1 delivery and a strike taken on the outside corner. Adam had backed off and a little late call.
Yeah, he thinks it's outside, and I would imagine it is anytime you drag it back, and maybe, but not by much. Take a look. This is, I mean, it's balls off the plate, and of course if you're pitching you want it.
If you're hitting, you sure don't.
No, because you think it's a ball. And
1-2, a chopper to third. He really had to reach for that one.
Well, and then what happens in the ensuing pitches, you don't trust the umpire. You know, your idea of what a strike is and his are different. Now, it doesn't make him a bad umpire. It just means that's his strike zone. What's so unusual about tonight is that he really hasn't favored the pitcher that much, but just on occasion. So I don't know if you really know what he's going to call a strike and a ball. And that confuses hitters and pitchers.
1 ball, 2 strike count as Adam stands back in, trying to get the leadoff man on again for the Orioles. They did that in the 4th inning on the Davis infield hit. 1-2 delivery. It hit hard right into Longoria's glove.
Yeah, hanging changeup whacked right to the Gold Glover. There you go. Largest decrease in strikeouts, and of course it's early. You know, the Rays are up there with the top: Pirates, Nationals, Mariners, Braves. Of course, the Nationals trying to win in 7 in a row, trying to get their bullpen in. Of course, look how high their strikeout rate was. And again, the Rays, you know, again, they think if there is a weak link, it might be their bullpen. You wouldn't know that tonight. That's your PNC inside the numbers.
Manny Machado is lined out, and he has drawn a walk. Whitley's delivery to him up high, and Manny was able to hold the bat back. Manny a 2 for 5 off Whitley. It's only the 6th appearance Whitley has had against the Orioles. He is 0-2 against the O's. They have put a lot of big numbers up in a short time. 14 earned runs on 19 hits in 13 innings off Whitley. Foul back over the dugout, and that'll be out of play.
Well, he was never, even when he was starting for the Yankees, you go all the way back to what, 2014, 24 games, 12 of those starts, but never been overpowering. I mean, he's got to make his pitches, and in the back pocket he always had the changeup, and that will slow bats down.
Jim Hickey, who's had to keep that scorecard in hand.
Well, he hung a changeup, and Adam whacked it right at the third baseman, just hung a curveball, and don't think that Jim Hickey doesn't know.
And got that one down low.
And there's the change.
1 ball, 2 strike count as he buried that one on Manny.
And watch it go down.
1-2. Machado to be followed by Chris Davis. Defense straight up in the infield now. Whitley with a 1-2 delivery. Check swing. Did he go? Nope. So Pruitt, the starter, no runs, a hit over 3. Farquhar came on. Didn't give up anything in 2 innings. 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Diaz an inning and a third. 2 ball, 2 strike count. And Manny goes down swinging.
Yeah, the one thing we talked about, Derek Norris has been struggling, did get the sacrifice fly, but I don't know if too many catchers give a better target. I mean, look at the target, and then he executes the pitches. That's pretty much what pitching's about, even if you're not a stuff guy. So again, look at the target. I mean, you can't miss it. Rick Dempsey, when he caught for the Orioles, used to have a little orange circle. So you couldn't miss the glove, and he would get it up. Easier to hit those kind of targets. So again, Derek Norris, known for his ability to give you a good target. Once again, it's out there. Ball to the glove.
Davis a base hit as he rolled one down the third base side on a swinging infield single, and he has grounded out. 3 for 5 and 2 home runs off Whitley. 0-1 delivery to him. Tried to lift that one, but ended up on top of it. And an 0-2 count. Just fouled that one back into the on-deck circle.
Well, you're seeing what changing speeds can do to hitters, and even big, strong hitters. They get them out in front. You can see the one-handed swing. I mean, you got to kind of wait, knowing they can't throw it by you, and maybe use the opposite field, left center.
0-2 pitch to him. Went away. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Davis. The Orioles get another win here at home as they look for their 14th on the year. Orioles still #1 in the majors, best win percentage. And all these big games against the division foes. Fouled away. I was looking at division play. If you go all around Major League Baseball, the Orioles come in against their own division 11-4. That is the best mark in the American League by any team in any division against opponents. Tampa Bay has struggled in the division early on. They're 6-9. The only other team in the majors with 11 wins in their own division, the Nationals. They came into today's play 11-4 against the division of the National League East. 1-2 pitch, and Davis is gone. So Whitley comes on effectively, retiring the side in order, picking up a couple of strikeouts, 6 complete, and a 2-0 Rays lead.
Highlights, not a lot of opportunity for the Orioles. Runners at second and third. Hardy grounds out, and now Caleb Joseph called out on the curveball. And And then runners at first and second. They start the runners. Weeks scores to make it 1-0. And then Derek Norris with a sacrifice line drive. The Rays score 2 and take a 2-0 lead. Geico 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save. So again, 2 big innings. The first as far as pitch counts, and then the fourth when they do score the first 2 runs, and then off a very efficient 6th inning to get him here to the 7th.
Peter Borges in the number 9 spot has been on twice. He has walked and singled. Souza, then Kiermaier. The next pitch will be a season high in pitches thrown by Wade Miley as he gets that one in there for a strike. 6 walks and 6 strikeouts in the ball game for Wade as he works here into the 7th inning. 0-2 the count. Another game where the pitchers are dominating, and again tight ball game going deep. Miley again effective.
Well, you got to admire the fact that, you know, I think last year at the end when he was struggling, maybe 6 walks would have undone, but tonight the composure good as you look at Alex Asher. You know, like Asher getting loose for the Orioles.
Down the line the other way and foul. Peter Borges getting the start because the left-hander is on the mound and doing it in left field in the ball game. 2 teams right back at it tomorrow night. Wrap up the 3-game set. Did he go? No. Dylan Bundy after win number 4. Alex Cobb, who's 1-2 on the mound for the Rays. 6:30 O's extra. 7 o'clock for the ball game on Masson. 2-ball, 2-strike delivery by Miley, and he got the strikeout.
Well, that's what Caleb was talking about. Had trouble doing it early, but last inning just got in a better rhythm. And then right here, this is his strength. Inside corner, perfect pitch. And again, you know, we've seen the strike zone be a little bit bigger, and that ball, you can see, I mean, great angle there. Watch Caleb just bring it back into the zone, present it to the umpire. It doesn't hurt when James Hoy is sitting right there.
1 down in the 7th. Steven Souza Jr. at the top. Base hit, has struck out and he has flied out. So Souza's had the 1 hit in 6 at bats here in the series, coming in red hot and into a ballpark where he has a .389 lifetime average here at Camden Yards. 0-1 delivery to him. He'll take it. That's going to be in the outside corner.
Yeah, a little tantrum the last time he struck out. I mean, of course, they had a chance to have a big inning. They'd already scored 2. Wade Miley struck him out on a changeup down and away.
0-2 lifted to short off the glove of Hardy, and he'll be on. So Hardy, that one hit right at him, and either he makes that backhand play or there's no second chance, and he couldn't get it.
Yeah, curveball just stays up, and then again, this is the American League Player of the Week. So he's been hitting the ball hard as he does there. And again, you're right. You either catch it. It's not easy to try to get the pocket in front of a backhand. And JJ usually pretty adept at doing that.
It'll be a base hit. So Souza's on 2 for 4. And with 1 away, here's Kiermaier. Kiermaier was going for 3. Boy, that was a big cut. Kevin Kiermaier has struck out, grounded out, reached on a fielder's choice. 4 for 14 with a home run lifetime off Miley. 0-1 delivery to him, will miss down low. Rain has again stopped. Very little breeze blowing at the ballpark. 1 ball, 1 strike. In at third base, Manny Machado. Fouled off that way, but into the seats. Got to take that speed away from Kiermaier. Even in that situation, Manny had moved in. He'll back up now with a 1-2 count. Miley working hard at it in this one. Short lead at first. And a swing and a miss. 2 down.
But composure stuff, you know, he's hanging around. I mean, this is old school baseball here where you know, if you get out of this inning, and he's certainly capable of doing that, you got a chance to win. And if you played an era like I did, where actually you had to win games to
get paid
money, to get paid. I mean, it's important, and this is what he's doing tonight.
Struck out 11 in the last outing against Cincinnati, and he's got 8 in this game. Longoria up, has drawn a walk twice, flied out to center, 1 for 5 in the 2 games for Evan Longoria. Souza over there at first base, picking up the multi-hit ball game under the back foot. 9th multi-hit game for Steven Souza.
Yeah, I would think that maybe the next pitch or two he's going to try to pick him off, because that's a lot easier to do than to try to get Longoria out. And he's got a pretty big lead. He's going to give him a good move, and you just never ever know.
1-1 delivery on the way. Watch it, watch it, watch it. That's a fair ball. Longoria didn't run, and he's going to be out. If he had taken off, he would have been on. That ball rolled foul and came back fair. And no one feels worse about that right now than Evan Longoria. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left on. Our Honda do-ups. When we come back, the Orioles, after the 7th inning stretch, will be looking for some runs with Trumbo, Kim, and Scope due up for the Orioles. So the 7th inning stretch, and Trumbo to the plate. For Mike Trumbo, he has struck out, popped out. Kim and then Scope will follow as the Orioles bat in the bottom of the 7th, being shut out, but just by a 2-0 score. Trumbo will take the pitch away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. We have seen so many games here this month that have looked like this with the great pitching. The Orioles starters have been so good. And Miley doing it again here tonight. Trumbo will pop it up. First or second? Second base. That'll be handled by Miller. Here's that final play that ended the last half inning. The 2 third baseman in this ball game, Longoria up, Manning in the field.
Yeah, this is the 10th year, and I don't know if Evan Longoria ever saw a ball take a left turn like that. So Manny coming in right here. He thinks it's foul, and well, got it out, because right there you could see him as he's picking the ball up. He sees that Evan Longoria doesn't run, and the ball was what? It's the foul line, maybe 18, 2 feet foul. That's a first.
Some spin, didn't it? The off speed pitch has Kim way out in front on that one. He's been hit by a pitch, and he has struck out. Whitley on the mound. Donnie Hart up in the bullpen.
Well, the Rays have really done a nice job of mixing up their pitches. I mean, from Austin Pruitt, he used all his pitches. You know, some good sliders and fastballs and curveballs. Got out of the inning, the strikeout of Joseph. Then Farquhar used the changeup. Diaz 97 mile per hour, his fat way through about what, an inning and a third, and now you got a guy that can change speeds and show you different looks. There's a little change up trying to get him out in front.
Skips away from that one, 2-1.
And every team has scouting reports. How do you want to get a guy out? You want to show him hard in, get him out soft away, and the teams that usually pitch well are the ones that can execute the scouting report and the approach.
Whitley with the 2-ball 1-strike count and up high. The Orioles starters coming into this one, 7th in ERA, 3.91. That has been helped along by the work of Wade Miley, who may be done here in the ball game. The bullpen staying active, but we'll see. 3-ball 1-strike count. Certainly was effective in the 7th inning with a couple more strikeouts, giving up just the base hit. Kim 3-1, taking, and it's in there for a strike. He was looking for the walk. Orioles trying to get the potential tying run to the plate.
Yeah, and Whitley also, he's a control guy. Again, as we mentioned, about a year removed from Tommy John, and he knows what the scoreboard says. He doesn't want to walk anybody. What can I throw here? Make him put the ball in play. Quality pitch of some sort.
3-2 delivery. Kim off the mound. Nice short hop play by Beckham and a nice pick by Morrison.
Yeah, that's one of those. Even though, I mean, this is his first full year in the big leagues at shortstop, and kind of threw it off balance, and then Morrison bails him out. Had plenty of time because the ball was hit hard to kind of take his crow hop, but he'll come in and right here. I mean, right there. I mean, it's just a lackadaisical throw, and you kind of get a little bit lucky that your first baseman picks him up, and if he throws that away, that's what a life lesson that is.
And that would have been a big play.
Well, the Orioles are looking for a base run because the tying run comes to the plate if they can get that. Now, getting that's been difficult.
So Jonathan Scope, he has doubled and struck out. Pitch will be fouled straight back. The Orioles have not had a base runner since the leadoff single by Davis in the 4th inning.
And even that pitch right there, hanging change up, pretty good swing, just could not quite center it.
11 in a row have been retired by the bullpen, which is all that is pitched in this game for Tampa Bay. 0-1 delivery on the way, and Jonathan over the top of that one. 0-2.
Yeah, nice change up, turned it over. Good late movement. Great location.
0-2 count, 2 down. Shift on in the infield against Jonathan. Orioles have been held to a very quiet offensive night so far with a double and a single. 0-2 delivery, and he'll off speed that one away. 1-2. Tampa Bay trying to get back to 500. Orioles trying to extend a win streak and guarantee themselves another series win. They are 5-0-1 in the series so far. Just enough to keep the at-bat going. Whitley with a 1-2. Kevin Cash's decision not to use his scheduled starter. Interesting. McShowalter leaving Miley in because he's effective and because he wants to give him a chance to be the benefactor if the Orioles could get a couple of runs on the board. 1-2 delivery on the way, and not going after that either.
Well, yeah, the interesting thing about Erasco Ramirez is that, he got the spot start against the Tigers, pitched 5 innings, and then last year, of course, pitched more innings out of the bullpen after winning 11 games as the starter the year before than any pitcher in the American League. So he's comfortable either starting or relieving.
And a swing and a miss. Yes, and he's tagged out. So Whitley has picked up 3 strikeouts, retires the side in order, and we go to the 8th inning. RP's getting to know you. For the Orioles, 2 key members of the bullpen. Take a look at Brad Brock, that great strikeout to walk ratio, the ground ball fly ball ratio, outstanding, and the opponent batting average. I mean, that's almost untouchable. And Michael Givens, the same thing as Brad Brock on that strikeout to walk ratio. He too has been able to get the big outs. Ground ball fly ball ratio exceedingly good, and the opponent batting average 167. 2 keys as to why that bullpen has been so effective.
Yeah, you get a guy. I mean, Wade Miley really pitches well. Again, I just didn't have his great command early on, but hung around, gave himself a chance to win. It could be the pitcher, obviously, that would suck up the loss, but again, just showed a lot as we see Donnie Hart. It seems like we see him every day, and again, really pitching well for the Orioles.
So the left-hander will come on to face the left-hander Miller. Weeks the DH, and then Morrison, another left-hander, due up. We don't like to see the ground crew behind the tarp. That's not a good thing unless the game's over. And Miller will take the pitch outside for a ball. As popped out, hit into a fielder's choice. Brad Miller also drew a walk that came in the first inning. Hart with that sweeping pitch, so tough to hang in on by left-handers. Comes towards the inside corner and will miss with it. He's not allowed to run. 8 appearances, 6 innings. O'Day's getting ready in the bullpen. Against Hart, the left-handers 3 for 9. Right-handers have gone 2 for 14.
I said today, are you a right-handed specialist now? You get right-handers out. He just laughed. He said hardly. He said, my job is to get lefties out.
Take a couple of righties along the way. That helps.
Well, it just allows, Buck Showalter, since he's gotten here, any manager, if you have a guy that can dominate lefties, which is what Donnie Hart did in his first year last year, and also get right-handers out, it just allows you to, have a little more length and breadth in your bullpen.
And not what he wanted to do, as that is going to be a leadoff walk here in the 8th inning for Miller. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Heck of a ball game underway here. Leadoff man on. Weeks.
Yeah, well, back-to-back games of at least 7 walks for the Oriole pitchers, and they don't want to get in that habit.
Only 2 walks surrendered by Hart this year, but it's a big leadoff walk.
And that's how the 2-run rally back in the 4th started. Weeks with a 1-out walk after Miller had made it out.
Weeks walked, Morrison walked, and they both scored. Weeks with the walk has also flied out twice. Short lead at first, and the pitch taken away for a ball.
You got to be strong to hit with your hands like that. I mean, the last guy and one of the terrific center fielders was Eric Davis when he played for the Orioles, and now he would actually have his hands maybe back a shame. Here comes the rain, but you got to trigger the bat. You got to be strong. Watch him get it going. Yep.
That'll be in the inside corner. Donnie Hart takes it to a 1-1. You saw the rain coming down again, and the worry this time is it's here to stay. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Miller off first base, Davis on the hold. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and Weeks way out in front as the 78-mile-an-hour changeup had him on the front foot.
Well, that's how you get righties out. We saw him strike out Weeks, who struck out last night on a good breaking ball, but the changeup down and away. The big sweeper. He started in the middle of the plate, try to throw it for the back foot of the right-hander.
1 ball, 2 strike count. The delivery to Weeks, ground ball to the hole. That's going to be a base hit. He got the bat around on it. That wet grass out there will slow it down. Kim will get it back in, and Miller goes to second base. So 2 on here in the 8th inning with nobody out. Follow Orioles baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season with Game Day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast stats, news, and more. Download it, MLB.com at-bat. It's your #1 app for live baseball. So Tampa Bay threatening here in the 8th inning as they get the first 2 on base. And Morrison 0 for 2, a strikeout, a ground ball out, and the walk, and a run scored. Hart with a look back to second. Morrison waits on it. It'll be a strike on the outside corner. Well, obviously big potential runs out there right now for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the thing about Donnie Hart is, we saw Morrison the first time up against the lefty Miley. Actually got a good breaking ball, hit it hard, but hit it right at the second baseman's scope. He's trying to hope that Donnie Hart lays one in the middle of the plate, and he doesn't do that often. Now it looks like maybe a fastball in.
A 1 delivery on the way.
Yeah, which it was, to set up the breaking ball away.
Tampa Bay 1 for 3 in these situations tonight. Neither team has had a lot of opportunities. The Orioles have gone 0 for 2. They've got 2 out there now. Miller at second base, Weeks at first. And Morrison with a 1-ball 1-strike count. Kevin Cash hoping for a hit on his side. 1-1 delivery. And misses inside, 2-1. Wade Miley, while he's out of there, what great starts he's had. He in the last 6 innings, 3 runs, 8 innings, 1 run. Tonight, 7 innings, 2 runs. Amazing.
Yeah, and when you pitch that way, obviously you like to win games, but again, when you pitch and you compete like you did tonight, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yep. 2-1 delivery off the end of the bat. That's a fair ball. Step on third. 1 quick throw to first. Not in time.
Yeah, trying to get 2, but they do get the lead runner. It's kind of been a theme tonight. Not always again. I mean, it's a little squibber. Nice play. I don't see too many third basemen with that kind of arm strength be stepping to your right, thrown across the diamond with a wet baseball.
Yeah, we're going to get a pitching change here. Like Showalter on his way out, wants to get a matchup. He's got Beckham coming up, right-handed hitter. Runners on at first and second in the 8th inning. 1 down, 2-0 Tampa Bay.
Win is for the second time. He's really pitched well, so a little bit of a struggle early, but strikeouts not a problem. In 26 innings, 31 strikeouts over the course of the 2017 season, coming off an 11 strikeout game against Cincinnati, so a lot of good pitches. What did him in was a hit and run, sacrifice fly, and a couple of walks, and that was pretty much it for the offense by the Rays. Certainly gave the Orioles a chance to win. So Darren O'Day, there are the numbers, and again, 1 bad inning early on that will certainly elevate the earned run average. Righties, the number will not stay where it is, and again, usually very good at inherited runners, which is the case here with 1 out. Average runners at first and second.
Beckham up 1-for-1 off Darren. They hold the runner close. Scope dives at second base, and the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. So with the rain coming down, Rays trying to add to their lead here in the 8th inning. Donnie Hart responsible for the 2 base runners who are on. Darren has had 4 straight scoreless appearances. He had a tough start, 5 runs in his first 3 times out of the bullpen for the Orioles. And that one will just miss. A little low, maybe away. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Norris schedule up after Beckham. Weeks the runner at second base and Morrison on at first. Day's delivery set up away. That's where it's hit. Scope almost on the bag to Hardy, and they turn the double play. So Day comes on and gets it done in a hurry. No runs on 1 hit, no errors. 1 left on base. It remains 2-0. Tomorrow, as Dylan Bundy will take the mound against Alex Cobb. Our coverage on MASN 6:30 O's Extra presented by Southwest. Game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on MASN.
No, Alex Cobb again coming back from Tommy John, throwing the ball pretty well. Maybe the splitter not as good. Watched him the other day, and then Dylan Bundy's been outstanding. Again, how about that? 4 walks in his 4 starts. And again, the whip, that's walks and hits per innings, under 1. And when you're under 1, you're really pitching.
Tampa Bay pitchers have retired the last 12 Orioles to come to the plate. Orioles bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Hardy has grounded out and flied out. JJ, then Caleb Joseph and Smith are due up. Whitley remains on doing the pitching. All bullpen pitchers tonight for Tampa Bay, and that is there for a strike, and all have been very good. Closer.
Yeah, there's the closer, and he's a good one. Hard thrower.
Pruitt, 3 innings, no runs, a hit. Farquhar, 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit. Diaz, an inning and a third, 1 strikeout. Whitley's had 3 Ks. In the air, center field.
Wrong guy.
Kiermaier's there, and he's got it.
You don't want to try him.
He's so deep, it's almost impossible. You got to hit the ball out of the yard to get it over his head.
Exactly.
Caleb Joseph will stand in. 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out. And they put a shift on against Caleb. Pops it up the other way. Morrison battling the raindrops. 2 quick outs here in the 8th.
Kind of staggered under it. not easy to find the ball between the raindrops.
So Morrison made that play. Seth Smith coming up, lined out, flied out, grounded out. Teams taking on Mother Nature as well here. Only thrown 4 pitches to get 2 outs here in the 8th inning.
There's Archer on the left, Alex Cobb on the right.
Shift on here. And the pitch will be taken for a strike.
Yeah, I would imagine if Seth Smith can get on, Colomé will face Adam Jones. That's why he's up early. He attempted over the weekend a multi-inning save and was undone by a pass ball.
Smith again just one batter away from having that potential tying run at the plate. The only runners left on in scoring position way back in the 2nd inning, 2nd and 3rd.
With 1 out.
With 1 out. 1-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be chopped foul. 1-2.
Well, you got to give Tampa Bay a credit for changing speeds and making some pitches. And they have stuck to the scouting report and executed it to this point about as well as you can, and that's why the Orioles have 2 hits and no runs. They changed speeds. They stayed out of the middle of the plate. Not a lot of hittable pitches.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Whitley fouls it away. Whitley's trying to work through his 3rd inning out of the bullpen. I mean, he's really done a job. He hasn't allowed anybody on base.
Well, I think we saw that with Austin Pruitt. You know, he used all his pitches. He made some good pitches. He was careful. I mean, Whitley, as we mentioned, when he came up before he came over to Tampa, he was a starting pitcher. So he comes out of the minor leagues as a starter with a feel for pitching. That's how you can go Tommy John and maybe lose a few miles and still be able to get hitters out, because you can change speeds.
1-2 pitch away. Slipped a little bit on that one. And a 2 ball, 2 strike count to Smith. Trying to get Adam Jones to the plate here in the 8th inning. And just trying to get somebody on and break the streak of 14 in a row retired. The light rain continuing to come down. Playable. 2-2. Pitch on the way, and that will miss, and it's a full count.
I think that's one of those pitches where you hold your breath if you're Seth Smith. You're just hoping that you don't hear you're out from Jim Hoy. The curveball and breaking ball that just barely missed. And why did they get Seth Smith's on base percentage? There we go. Weather report. Alex Cobb going. What's it look like tomorrow at about 7:05?
3-2 delivery on the way, and a ground ball into the shift. Brad Miller makes the flip, and a 1-2-3 inning. What a 3-inning performance by Whitley. It is still 2-0 Rays. by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by the hotels at BWI.com. Minutes from BWI Marshall, Amtrak, and Interstate 95. Discover the convenience of the hotels at BWI.com. Rain falling here as we go to the ninth inning. 2-5-0 the Rays, 0-2-0 for the Orioles. 11,473 loyal, hardy stalwarts on hand for game 2.
Short sleeves. Look at that.
Look at that. Darren O'Day will work here in the ninth inning. Got the double play to end the eighth. Derek Morris, first pitch, long throw. Manny gets the grip and the out.
Yeah, he gets down there pretty quickly. But maybe I already had the sacrifice fly that drove in the second run. Derek saying that I might get an infield hit, but not in not the best conditions. And once again, they get the ground ball. I mean, he's airing it out.
Good
there you
stretch
go.
by Chris.
Well, that's what he does.
Gets a little thank you from the other side of the infield. Peter Borges, a base hit, a walk, and has been called out on strikes. Borges starting in left field for the Rays in this ball game. Today's delivery to him will be fouled off. Borges 2 for 4 against Darren, including a home run. Oh, 1 count, 1 down. Tampa Bay trying to even up, and Colome's been ready to go for half an inning. In a save situation for the moment. Here's the 0-1 pitch. First base, foul.
Yeah, Peter Borges, we talked about the fact he came up with the Angels. What a first year. And we talked about his speed. He had 11 triples. He had 17 bunt hits. How about 36 infield hits? And then stole over 20 bases the next year, wrist injury, and really has never been the same player.
Like Britton talking it over with Roger McDowell, the pitching coach. Pitch will be down low. Zach is eligible to come off the DL on Wednesday, but they're expecting him to start rehab on Friday. Going to figure out where to send him, and a lot of that has had to do with the weather. Joey Rickert, same situation. He's supposed to be in a rehab game today in the minors, washed out. 1-2 pitch on the way, and that'll be outside.
Yeah, and I think they're playing a doubleheader tomorrow, so he'll probably play in one of them.
He could be back on Friday, depending on what the needs are of the Orioles for the continuing roster changes made day in and day out. Entirely based on need. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that one fouled off right at the plate. You know, Zach is chomping at the bit to get back. It's time.
Well, he said, you know, as he was getting his treatment, and he said, well, I thought I might have heard it on a breaking ball, but I really don't think so. You know, again, a tough spring because of the oblique problem, so maybe throw a little bit differently. There's 4 out of 4 Brad Brock, who's taken his place and hasn't missed a beat. But it gives you an idea because, you know, usually it was all-star Brad Brock to get to Zach Britton.
O'Day with a 2-2 delivery on the way, pops that one back, and that will be out of play. Souza waiting. On deck circle, leadoff batter. There he be. He's had a couple of hits tonight. 2 ball, 2 strike count on Borges. 7th pitch of the at bat coming from Darren O'Day. And the 2-2.
Front hip breaking ball, tried to catch the inside corner. What he does so well, hoping the hitter will give up on it, but it just kind of stays inside. You can see Caleb encouraging him. I don't know what the intent was, just couldn't execute it.
Three ball, 2 strike count. Set up, down and away, and broke the bat. Darren up. Gets it over to Chris Davis. 2 down. 2 down here in the 9th inning. Let's take a look at our Major League Notebook page on this date in baseball history. The New York Highlanders, who used to be the team that played here in Baltimore. They were playing with Jack Cheeseborough on the mound. He got the first of 41 season wins that he would get that season. That is still the American League record for wins in a season, and you get the feeling it probably will be for a long time to come. And in 1957, how about it took this long? There was a rule change that stated runners cannot interfere with a ball in play. There had been no such rule, and in fact runners would try and get hit and move the baseball around so it couldn't be fielded. 57, they changed it.
That's somewhat of a sensible rule change, wouldn't you
late
think?
I'm surprised it hadn't been in effect 50 years earlier.
Well, that's like the stymie in golf, where you try to put your ball in front of somebody else's, and they, you know, on the putting green, you have to actually either compress the ball and pop it over, or use a wedge, because the other ball was in front of them. They didn't mark golf balls back then.
That would be hard. Pitch taken outside, because if I was playing, you just have to move it to the other side of the tree.
Well, I would go, hey, look at that, and then move the ball.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
I don't even say look at that. I just take the club, jam it out to where I want to hit it from, and go from there. 2-0 count. 2 down, nobody on. Souza. Foul that one away. Souza's trying to get on base, get something going against O'Day, against whom he's 0 for 5.
Well, when you get young hitters, and you think back of the trade, it was a 3-year, you know, Souza, he comes from Washington, and you know they make the trade with San Diego. Will Myers goes, after having a great rookie year, he goes down to San Diego, and Washington gets Trey Turner and Joe Ross. So they're hoping that Souza, who had a terrific year, you know, hit 350 at AAA, and just stay healthy and have quality at bats. And I remember when I was doing, you know, Monday Night Baseball on ABC, and you were doing the Mets games when Darryl Strawberry came up. You know, maybe the first year 1 out of 5 at bats would be quality. Second year 2 out of 5. Third year 39 home runs. Had 3 out of 5, maybe 4. Just got, you know, incrementally better because of the quality of the bats. You know, hitting long home runs and a little bit better. So Souza, he's got a lot of natural ability. He just has to figure out, stay healthy, and hone him into the being able to do it at this level.
2-ball, 2-strike count on him right here, and that ball is going to go for a base hit. Adam Jones will come over on the second hop, so Souza's got a 3-hit ball game. Well, picked up right where he had left off last night, in the sense he'd been on a hot streak, went 0 for 3 last night, and then comes back tonight and ends up with a 3-hit ball game, 3 for 5.
Yeah, and part of it is just making contact. I mean, 159 strikeouts in what, 450 some at bats last year. So again, you know, you swing through that pitch, you're out. If you make contact, you know, he didn't hit it hard, but he found a hole in the. Kevin Cash says, I'm going to get Ramirez in this game. Even just want everybody to know, not suffering from flu-like symptoms. He can pitch. He may not pitch in the game, but he can throw.
6 hits now on the board for the Rays. 9th inning, 2 down. Here is Kiermaier. Kevin Kiermaier's had an 0 for 4. Days pitch to him, and that's a strike on the outside corner. Kiermaier 2 for 4 off Darren. So Souza at first base, picking up his 3rd 3-hit game of the year. Kiermaier trying to get him around with a 2-0 lead. The Orioles have Jones, Machado, and Davis due up in the bottom of the 9th inning. Again, the rain has let up. 0-1 delivery on the way, and a chopper. O'Day, the flip, and the out. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. The Orioles come up in the bottom of the 9th, down by just 2. and have gone at it, making pitching and defense the keys, and the Rays have been able to hang on with that lead since the 4th inning.
Yeah, so Alex Colomé, 95 with a hard slider, made the All-Star team. As you can see, has not given up a run. Righties, lefties, problem. 37 out of 40 in the save department. Throws a lot of strikes. Kind of came up through the minor leagues out of the Dominican as a starting pitcher. Actually, a couple of years ago, at least early in the year, started and won a couple of games, then struggled out to the bullpen, and he became their closer. And again, in his first year as a closer, made the All-Star team for the Rays.
Takes over for Whitley, who had a magnificent 3-inning performance, 3 strikeouts and everything else zeros. Colomé against the Orioles lifetime is 3-1. He's converted 6 of 7 saves against the Orioles. This is the 16th game he will pitch against the Orioles. The O's against Colomé have hit a .186, 5 runs, 16 hits in 24 innings.
So you need a base runner. That's where it starts. Yeah, did pitch a couple of innings, did get the blown save on the pass ball, unearned run against Houston on Sunday.
Adam Jones 1 for 11 against Colomé. Will lead it off in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Infield shifted around on Adam. He's 0 for 3. Colomé's pitch for a strike. Adam has moved past the 1,500 hit mark. He becomes the 620th player to reach 1,500 hits. He's tied with Tim McCarver with 1,501, and he passed Mike Bordick last night. Bordy, who has 1,500 exactly. Second baseman will make the play, and Miller is retired. Jones is retired by Miller, and 1 away here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, just 2 cut fastballs, both of them right on the corner. I mean, that's pretty much what this night's been about. Execution by the Rays pitchers. Give them a scouting report. That's what you do with Jim Hickey. Derek Norris has done a terrific job, not only with the bat with a sacrifice fly, but they've stifled a very good hitting team, at least on a normal night. And the important thing, if you're trying to beat the Orioles, keep the ball in the ballpark. And to this point, they've been able to do that.
Manny's 0 for 2. He's lined out, struck out. 5 for 12 off Colomé. Shift on against Manny as well. Well, the Orioles tonight, they've had 3 balls out of the infield. The Scope double, the Smith fly ball out in the 3rd inning, and the Hardy fly ball out in the 5th inning. That's been it, as the Orioles have not been able to get that ball out of the infield area, but for those occasions. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, well, I mean, how do you hit 90? I mean, that's a cut fastball at 90, perfectly located. And the illusion is, and that's what the good breaking ball, the good cutter, you think it's going to be a strike, and it goes from strike to ball, and they've done such a good job of that all night long.
0-2 count with 1 down. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way, and that will be outside. Orioles season low has been 1 run. The Orioles have not been shut out yet this year. Low in hits has been 5. That has actually happened already 4 times to the Orioles this season. They've only got 2 in this ball game. 1 ball, 2 strike count. The 3rd. Whoa, what a pick by Longoria, and gets the out. And that may very well be the play of the game.
Well, that ball was scorched. What do they call third base? The hot corner. And right here, I mean, boom. That's what I got. Big glove, big web. I mean, you're either going to catch it or it's going into left. And right into the glove. Couple of Gold Gloves. So what? I didn't run on that 1 ball that kicked fair.
Just got it back.
Yep. What a play. You're just looking for a base runner.
Here's Chris Davis. That's 17 in a row that have been retired by the bullpen of Tampa Bay, and it's only been the bullpen that has pitched in this game. Chris Davis, a base hit back in the 4th inning, is the last Oriole base runner. 1-0 delivery, and that is taken for a strike.
Well, Gary, you go back to this game. You know, they have the youngest manager in baseball in Kevin Cash. He played the infield in with runners in second and third with Austin Pruitt pitching, and he got the ground ball from Hardy and the strikeout of Caleb Joseph, and then hit and run, and that's how they got their first run. Beckham was what, 1 for 14 runners in scoring position, started the runners, cut down the swing. He hits a single. Norris hits a sacrifice fly, and there's your 2 runs. So 2 pretty gutsy moves by a young manager, and it pays off to this point.
Orioles still in it if they can get somebody on and get that potential tying run to the plate. Colomé is after the save. Davis with a 2-ball 1-strike count. And the pitch by Colomé will just miss. And the count goes 3-1 with Trumbo waiting on deck.
Well, we talked about this last night. When you're down, do you take here? You would think that maybe you would take strike 2, make him throw the ball over. You got the guy that led the major leagues in home run, even though he's struggling. Mark Trumbo on deck. But in this day and age, rarely do you try to work the count.
3-1 delivery on the way. That'll be foul tipped into the mitt, and a full count here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 3-2, 2 down, nobody on.
Yeah, 95. Just kind of your best fastball in the middle of the plate. Throws it by him.
Whitley's got a chance to be the winning pitcher in this ball game, and certainly deserving of it if they go that way with the 3 innings that he worked. 3-2, 2 down. The delivery by Colomé, and the Orioles get what they needed. Davis draws a walk. Only the 2nd walk the Orioles have picked up in the ball game.
Yeah, the 2 walks in the 4th scored. Those are how the Rays got their run. So now you're wondering if a base on balls will have something to do with this outcome here in the 9th.
Brad Brock is getting ready in the bullpen. The Orioles can make the comeback. Colomé issuing just his 2nd walk of the year. Here is Mark Trumbo. 2 down, runner on at first base. Bottom of the 9th inning. Tampa Bay on top in this ball game. They scored 2-0. Trumbo's got an 0 for 7 against Colomé. Runner goes, will be given second base.
Yeah, I mean, it seems meaningless, but it does take the force play out of the Rays defense. And again, it's a wet field. You just never know. Ideally, obviously, you'd love to have a 2-run home run to tie it, or a double to get Kim to the plate with a chance to tie the score.
1-0 pitch on the way off the end of the bat. Count goes to 1-1 with Davis on at second base. Colomé has actually blown a save, even though he hasn't allowed an earned run. Against Houston last outing, an unearned run scored. He gave up 2 hits and a walk, resulting in a blown save and an unearned run.
Yeah, there was a pass ball that set up that tying run, and I mean, he loves to cut fastball. Throws it about 63% of the time, and why not? It moves.
1-1 delivery. That's back.
There it is. It's kind of stayed up, and again, they're in the double defense. You know, we talked about how Kiermaier plays deep, but Borges just as deep in left, and then out and right. Souza. Yeah, so, you know, obviously, if you had a soft fly ball, you're going to get on. But they're just saying, okay, 2-0 lead. We'll play defense to the scoreboard. Don't have anything over our head. And as you said, the only way to get it over their head is to hit a home run.
1-2 with 2 down. Colomé's delivery, and it will miss away. A 2-ball 2-strike count on Trumbo. An exciting finish to a ball game where Tampa Bay has led since the 4th. The Orioles not able to get on the board. Still in this ball game, only with 2 hits. Colomé, here's the 2-2 delivery. Trumbo swings and misses, and the ball game is over. So Colomé comes on and gets the save, and Tampa Bay That's their first shutout as a team, and for the Orioles, the first time they have been shut out. Whitley wins it 1-0. Miley takes the loss 1-1, and Colomé gets the save. 2-0 the final. So we will have the rubber match coming up tomorrow as they wrap up the 3-game set. Dylan Bundy against Alex Cobb. Coverage on MASN 6:30 O's Extra, presented by Southwest. Game coverage will be at 7. This has been a MASN presentation. Tom and Rick will be back. Take a look at how the Rays came away with the W. For Jim Palmer and all of our crew, I'm Gary Thorne. Stay dry, everybody. Adieu.